All right. Hello and welcome everybody to Block Party, our second annual Block Party. My name is Phil Corbin, Marketing Director here at Variphy. And over the next 3 hours, we're going to cover all things Variphy, demos, deep dives, overview of our brand new user community, which we call Planet Variphy, product announcements, customer success stories, and also hand out over $6,000 in prizes to lucky attendees throughout the event. Also, at the end of the day, we're going to be giving away a grand prize valued over $3,000. So make sure you stay on the live stream to win. Also, if you have any questions at any point during the event, please do not hesitate to ask them in the chat window on the right side of the feed. We have our CDR ninjas standing by to answer all of your questions. So once again, if this is your first block party, welcome. If you attended last year's, welcome back. What we're going to do now is go around the screen for some quick intros. So I'm going to pass it over to Dan Schmidt. Dan, take it away.
Thank you, Phil, and thank you everyone for joining us on our annual 2021 block party. As Phil mentioned, I'm Dan Schmidt, Director of Operations here at Variphy, and I'm honored and pleased to be part of today's event. We've got a lot in store as usual today for everyone, and I do want to say that none of this would be possible if it weren't for our block party panel, so let's meet them all. Today, we're going to get things kicked off with Danny Tran and Layne Hu, co-founders of Variphy, where they're going to be giving us our annual keynote address. I'd now like to welcome also our Prize Patrol team, consisting of Linnea Odie and Taylor Lee. They're going to be doing multiple rounds of prize giveaways during today's session, so stay tuned and keep an ear out for your name to see if you've won a prize. We will be in touch with everyone at the end of the session to arrange delivery of these prizes. We'll then throw it back over to Phil Corbin, who you just met, Sales and Marketing Director here at Variphy, where he is going to be showcasing our new and improved user community, Planet Variphy. A lot of exciting things and a lot of hard work that went into creating Planet Variphy. So definitely looking forward to that session. Once again, this year, we're also going to be having much appreciated customers supplying their feedback and experience with the Variphy team and the Variphy application. And they will be providing us some of their success stories in regards to that. We'll then do a little bit of time on our product roadmap. And here we'll meet Derek Falter, Senior Manager of Product Development, where he and I will both be covering what we currently have in our release, what you can expect in the next release, and new features and improvements for long-term roadmap items. To continue on with tradition, here we will also be doing a technical deep dive with none other than CDR Jesus himself, Victor Verba. He and I will be doing the deep dive technical session on our newest addition to Variphy, Cube Call Analytics. We're super stoked and excited to be delving into the Cube data and showing you guys a little bit about the intricacies and how Cube data can benefit you and your organization. I do want to take a second to point out that not although everyone that has had a hand or help in today's session is on screen at the moment, I do want to take mention of all those that have helped out in some way or fashion. Answering all of our questions in the live stream chat, we have our SE team standing by, consisting of Matt Sykes, aka Matty Ice, Mike Stratton, aka Magic Mike, and new to this year's session, home brewer Jim Schultens. So thank you guys for taking on all of our questions for today. On the creative front, definitely want to shout out to the marketing team, where they put a lot of effort into making today's event a possible and a success. So a huge shout out to our producer, Dre DeBox, Jenna Nguyen, Kevin Sweeney, and Jim Butler. We're going to be hearing from Mr. Butler here towards the end of today's session, where he's going to be giving away our grand prize giveaway. So stay tuned for that. All right, so I think that's everyone that is involved in today's session. Thank you to the entire panel, and once again, thank you for everyone for joining us today. I think it's time, without further ado, let's go ahead and get it started. I'm going to hand it over to Danny Tran and Layne Hu to give us our annual keynote. Guys, go ahead and take it away, please.
Thanks so much, Danimal. Welcome to the Block Party. Along with my co-founder and the rest of the team, we are deeply grateful and honored to have you here. Thank you for your time, your business, your support, your partnership. Nothing we do is possible without you, and being as responsive, supportive, and as customer-centric as possible to your needs has always been and will always be central to our culture. We're committed to making this collab journey with you as enjoyable and as rewarding as possible. So I wanted to begin today by touching upon how fast the pace of change has been for all of us. No one could have envisioned all that's transpired over the last year and a half. We've all had a front row seat, personally and professionally. If there's one thing that I'm truly thankful for over these past 18 months is that we've all had to adapt and find creative ways to stay engaged and collaborate with the people that matter, the most to us. If only we had some collab experts on this call. We love the fact that we have a very technical user community. I think dealing, with change should be, standard curriculum given what we've all had to go through. Seems more important than ever in these crazy times, just to maintain your mental health. I'm sure many of you have had or read the book, Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson. And if you haven't, here's a very quick synopsis for those that haven't. Who Moved My Cheese is about 4 characters who live in a maze, and they all love cheese. When the cheese disappears, you've got Scurry and Sniff, who enthusiastically head out into the maze to find new cheese. I guess in this example, I would say for Verify, the Scurry and Sniff would probably be Dan and Victor here. On the other side, you've got Hem and Haw, who feel betrayed and complain that the cheese is missing. So they waste their time and energy hoping that the cheese is going to return, like some Packers fans. Sorry, Dre. Great beats, by the way, but I couldn't resist. Anyways, Haw realizes, the old cheese isn't coming back. So he sets out into the maze in search of new cheese. He writes what he learns on the walls, hoping that Haw is going to follow him. And eventually he discovers the new cheese and sees that, Scurry and Sniff are already there enjoying their cheese. Cheese being the metaphor for what you guys want in life, a good job, loving relationships, money, health, maybe a CDR product that works. Anyways, the core message is things constantly change, so we have to adapt. The quicker we can embrace it, the happier we're going to be. And the key word is embrace it. The fact that you're here means that you're open to learning, experiencing, and collaborating, but also recognizing the different personality types helps us help the ones that we love, that we care about, to help navigate, as they are the ones that might be resistant to change. And, if Haw can't make that leap, it slows the process for everyone, and no one's happy. So a lot of this is relevant to running a software company and what goes on inside of Verify every day. Since we started this company, some of you know the story. Verify was started without any outside capital. So in the early days, for me and Layne, it felt like jumping into a lion's den with a meat suit on. We had larger companies rip off our ideas. We had customers asking us for financials to make sure they weren't buying a Yugo. Just the absolutely crazy things we had to go through being a small company. Fast forward to now, we feel like we've got the team and the grit to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, to be able to respond quickly to a dynamic landscape. And in software, if you're not uncomfortable, you quickly become prey. And we've got a dedicated cross-functional continuous improvement team led by Dan Schmidt, or affectionately known as Danimal to Verify here. Super talented director of operations and engineer, and he's helping us to make sure that we're constantly focused on remaining customer centric, dynamic, and that now makes Dan the wearer of the new meat suit. So if you deal with Danimal, got to butter him up or he's going to get salty. Anyway, speaking about change, Dan is going to be changing diapers shortly and adding that to his routine in the near future. So heartfelt congrats to you, Pops, Dan. Moving on here. So our block party, as you guys know, was kind of born out of this pandemic. As Dan had mentioned, previously, it's been great to meet some folks that, we didn't get a chance to meet at Cisco Live or other in-person and partner events. So in addition to giving thanks for me and my co-founder, Layne, block parties give us a time to reflect. We've been in the heat of continuous heads down work at Verify for so long. It's really nice to appreciate the accomplishments of this team. No matter how challenging the chapter that we've completed, he and I, perfect partner in crime, are usually just on to the next chapter. But what better time than a block party to reminisce about the sincere affection that we have for the people, the customers, the partners, and the employees who are part of our story. Stressful days can build to happy chapters of a fulfilling story. And these are, in fact, the good times and will be the years we reminisce about in the future. So, to our friends, our own team, I say thank you, and let's give ourselves permission to enjoy the ride. Now it gives me great deal of joy that we are ready to launch Planet Verify. Again, great job on the beats there, Dre, which our talented director of marketing, Phil Corbin, will be discussing shortly. Creator of this beauty, among other things. That could be a lifetime achievement award there, Phil. One of the many fun facts on Phil is that he is the proud parent of 2 adorable baby pigs, maybe not so baby anymore, to go along with his cats. So Planet Verify will give you the opportunity to engage with us and each other and ask Phil about his music career, among other things. Uh, Anyways, we know that many of you prefer to collaborate, learn, and explore through user forums. So I have no doubt that Planet Verify will be just as useful and fun for you as it will be for us. We've learned so much from you, and I hope that you have from us as well. And I know we're going to get to know each other even better on Planet Verify. And the marketing team, as always, will be priming the pump with some cool swag to get things going. So again, just thank you. We are committed to making this journey with you and all the changes that we're going to no doubt encounter together as enjoyable and as rewarding as possible. Layne, your thoughts?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you, and welcome everybody who is joining us for the first time in one of these live events, which are always fun to put together. And of course, welcome back to those who have joined our weekly webinars along the way, and as well as our 2 live stream events that we did starting last year in the pandemic. Had a number of people ask me, why do we really do these events? And often some of those people are actually people who have joined the company here. And when someone internally who's asked, I often actually ask them back to see what they think. Most assume it's the perfect venue to make some major product announcements or other things that are coming out, and that's certainly true. Many see it as a pretty unique way to engage, particularly because where there is no in-person events, and maybe there will be next year, and certainly that's also true as well. Some guess that we love to give away money and prizes, which is actually not false. I mean, we do that as part of webinars. We get that there's lots of people vying for your time, so we might as well make it even better for you guys to join. A few people, not surprisingly, wonder if we're looking for a nice, good excuse to day drink midweek. I'm not going to deny that's probably true as well. The one reason that most people don't mention, but is actually maybe the most important, is what Danny touched on, which is really our team. This is a chance to reflect. It's a chance to showcase our team with all of you. It's a big part of who we are. It makes us the company that we are. We are a human first company and a product company second. So on today's block party event, we're pretty proud and to introduce and provide a stage to the team that you've been introduced to already here by Dan. Some should hopefully be very familiar faces to you. Some you might be meeting for the first time, and that's pretty exciting as well. It's a great mix of people from just about every aspect of our company. We've got product development who has firsthand real impact in designing and building our products that have been released in the past and are coming out here shortly. We've got our Ninja system engineers and customer success team who are always eager and able to help you guys with any assistance you might need. And last but not least, of course, our marketing team who's put this whole event together and really, gets a lot of gratitude out of making sure that all of you stay informed going forward day to day with new things that come out from our company, and want to make sure that you guys are up to date.
each and every person here on this block party team personifies exactly who we are at Verify, a people first company. Many have been here for several years, and I'm very thankful to be able to say that. And many are actually pretty new to the team, and no matter what, they've all had a real and positive impact day in, day out here. And I'm lucky to say that I get to work alongside them all. Ultimately, what we're hoping all of you get out of this event today is a few things. One, to be informed, right? We want to share, as many of these events typically do, what we've been working on, what's coming out next, what we've been up to, what are we thinking, and obviously, how is that going to benefit you and your organization? Hopefully, this is somewhat enjoyable. We understand firsthand what you guys all do day in, day out as part of your normal job, and hopefully, as with any interaction you have with us as a company, it's enjoyable. We take every chance to help you super seriously, but at the same time, we try not to take ourselves too seriously on the back end. So hopefully we can have a little bit of fun as we go through all this today. And lastly, but most importantly, we want this to be an opportunity to better connect with us, right? This is about our team, who we are, the people that are behind all the things that we do, to engage with you in a forum like this. And I can only imagine what this would be like once we get back into live in-person events. Would be incredible, but that's what we're looking for here. As Danny mentioned, next month will be our 17-year anniversary, which is crazy. It doesn't feel that long ago, but if you think back in those days, Call Manager version 3, 3, and 4 were all the rage. I still call it Call Manager. That's how far back I go. Back then, it was a no-brainer to hitch our wagon to Cisco. It was the right choice then, and it's been a fun, exciting, and fortunate ride ever since. All of you are in the same boat to some degree, I would imagine, and jumped on the Cisco train at some point in the past. Not surprisingly, these days are a little bit different. This industry has changed, particularly in the last 18 months, but it started before that. Certainly, this pandemic has transformed how people communicate, how people work with their coworkers, as well as those outside their organization. Companies have had to either expand or put in place, if not, or if they didn't have it already, a truly remote workforce, and then figure out how to manage it and hope that productivity doesn't take too much of a hit. And for us, we recognize that while Cisco is a mainstay for probably most of you, maybe all of you, and a no-brainer, they're starting to become users and teams within organizations that may prefer or are just more used to using other tools to communicate and collaborate, whether it's internally or externally. So what does this all mean? Well, for us as a vision, as a company, what we're looking to do in the future is game on with analytics. So whether you're a Cisco only operation today, and that will never change, or you're already managing a hybrid situation, our vision is to help you on either end of that spectrum. We're going to continue to be the best service and solution option for Cisco Analytics. That's not changing from our view. Cisco isn't going anywhere, and neither are we. You'll hear a lot about our new Cube offering today, as many of you have already been trying out. Thank you for that. We also have some pretty cool bells and whistles coming out for our other features with UTCX and DID and some other key areas as well. Additionally, you will soon hear from our product team what we're working on beyond Cisco, and that's expanding our coverage of different types of analytics. I won't steal their thunder by saying too much here, but I will say that our goal is to provide you with the most comprehensive view of your operation as possible, right? We take your data really seriously, and we want to help you kind of along the way. To tie it back to Danny's mouse and cheese analogy, I guess I would say that we are the mouse that's running alongside you, right? Our cheese, our cheddar that we're going for is the same as you. We're helping you get to whatever cheese you're looking for, and hopefully, we have opportunities to work with you along the way to achieve that. So I will wrap up here by saying thank you again to everybody, and I think it's time to give out our first set of prizes. So Taylor, Linnea, would you like to kick this off?
Woohoo! Thanks, Danny and Layne. Woo-hoo. Hello, everybody. My name is Taylor. I'm an account manager here at Verify. I may have worked with some of you here, but if I haven't, I hope I do in the future.
And my name is Linnea, Renewal Specialist here at Variphy. You might have heard from me via email, and it's nice to be able to virtually hang out with you all.
This is both of our first block parties, so we're really excited to have some fun and give out some awesome prizes today. In this round, we're going to give out 2 Amazon gift cards and a drone. Are you guys excited?
Woo! I'm
I
excited.
can't hear you.
Mine don't make noise, but they are planet themed.
I love the background. All right, let's get these prizes started. So our first $50 Amazon gift card goes to, drum roll please, Troy Semsrott. Woo!
Woo! All right. And the second Amazon gift card winner is, another drum roll please, Sriram Gopalakrishnan! Yeah!
And last but not least, we have the beloved drone. Now this drone is going to go to Michelle Tominelli. Woohoo!
All right.
Michelle, now you get to spy on all your neighbors. Just kidding, just kidding. Just kidding.
Congratulations again to the lucky prize winners. And again, those winners are Tony Semsrott with the first Amazon gift card. The second Amazon gift card is for Sriram Gopalakrishnan, and the drone goes to Michelle Tominelli. Congratulations.
Woohoo!
All right. Now we're going to take it over to Phil, who is going to introduce something that's totally out of this world, our brand new user community, Planet Verify. Woo!
Tell us about Planet Verify, Phil.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Team TLT. Also, thanks to our first round prize winners. I am so excited to be here today to unveil our brand new user community, which we call Planet Verify. Don't worry, we're going to get into a live demo shortly. I just want to walk you through a high level of what is Planet Verify, show you how to access it, and all that good stuff. But first, a step back. Why did we create Planet Verify? Why did we build it in the first place, this user community? Well, it comes down to you, our customers. You asked, we listened. A lot of you asked, hey, do you have user forums? Do you have bulletin boards? Do you have some place I can go to see how peers are using Verify, how they're using the products? We listened and we took it a step further. We built out an entire user community full of discussion forums, full of activity feeds, members, all that good stuff. And we're excited to launch it officially here today. So what we're going to do is go over, Planet Verify first and foremost, how to access it. You want to go to planet.verify.com or verify.com/planet. You're going to need your account number, or you're going to need a verify.com login to gain access. So if you do not know your account number, or you do not have a verify.com login, which you've used to probably get a new download of our product, reach out to myself, reach out in the chat, or reach out to your account manager, and they'll get you all set up. So what is Planet Verify? Everything in Planet Verify revolves around you, our customer, our users. It's a community, it's a forum. You can connect with peers, other Verify users. All of us at Verify are on Planet Verify. You'll see a little V icon next to our profile, so you know it's an employee of Verify. Expand your product knowledge, right? CDR, UCCX, DNDID, Cube, our brand new cloud offering. You can expand your product knowledge using Planet Verify. Collaborate on topics and discussions. Create a discussion. If you have a question, reach out to the community, and we'll be more than happy to help you out with that question. And also earn points and redeem rewards, right? Everything you do on Planet Verify, whether it's setting up your user profile, whether it's creating a discussion, asking a question, helping out a peer with their question, you're going to earn points, you're going to earn badges, and in turn, you're going to earn rewards. Right now, we're giving away Amazon gift cards as rewards, but as we roll out Planet Verify, education, certification, all these different ways to earn points, those different rewards will expand as well. Also, we have a vintage t-shirt contest. So if you've ever stopped by our booth at any of the Cisco Lives, we're always giving out these funky t-shirts, CDR Kittens t-shirts. Some of you might have a way throwback of an old Verify t-shirt. If you have a t-shirt, go find it from the closet, throw it on, take a picture, and upload it to the general feed of Planet Verify, and you will be entered to win a $100 Amazon gift card. We're going to pick the top 5 best, most creative photos that we get entered into the contest on the general feed of Planet Verify, and we're going to announce the winner September 30th at 11 a.m. So you have about 15 days to enter this contest. So again, if you do not have a t-shirt, reach out. If you do have a t-shirt, go find it, throw it on, take a cool pic, and you might win $100 in Amazon gift card. So again, deadline is September 30th, end of the month. All right. So let's do a quick overview of Planet Verify, the navigation, right? If you go to planet.verify.com and you log in using your verify.com credentials, if you don't have those credentials, reach out to your account manager, get your account set up, and you'll land on this page. And you'll see at the top header navigation, you'll see activity, members, and groups. Activity, this is the latest happenings from around the community. This is kind of what you'd see on Facebook, on LinkedIn. This is your live activity feed. It's going to all the different corners of our community and surfacing the latest content, right? You're going to see if somebody posts in a discussion forum of CDR reporting, you're going to see that latest post in the activity feed, and you can click on that and drill back down into that discussion. It shows all group activities, messages, general comments. It's also going to show, activity of people you follow, people who mention you specifically, any activity of any of the groups that you are a member of, or anything that you've liked. You can go into the activity feed and kind of look these things up. Members, wouldn't be a community without our customers and our members. So the members tab or navigation item is kind of a directory of all community members, including us, Verify employees as well. You can search for members, you can follow members, and you can connect with members. Following and connecting is a great way to kind of get the latest from somebody who might you might want to follow and see what they're posting around Planet Verify. So if you follow somebody, you're going to get notifications if they do start a new discussion or they do comment on something. And then groups. Groups is really important. Aside from the general feed, groups is product-specific discussions and questions that you might have. These are features and topics. You can share application methods, tips and tricks. Start a discussion on Cube, on UCCX, on CDR reporting, right? Any product that you might have, you might be stumped on running a report. This is a place to get those questions out there and ask them. I like to say this isn't a replacement for support. This isn't going to replace our knowledge base. This is just kind of reaching out to a community of somebody who might be using Verify a different way, and you might get some tips and tricks from some other users using Verify. So groups is the place to ask those specific product questions. All right, moving along. Activity feed. To start a general post to the community, you'll be on the home page. You'll see the activity feed. You can click on start a post and you're going to be given the option to start a general post. This is a general post. This is where you post, you wearing your t-shirt, just general discussion on Verify. However, if you have specific topics, please use the groups and discussion forum within the groups. You can add images, you can add documents, you can upload a report, you can add a screenshot, a PDF, anything you want within this post. You can also set the privacy. So, do you want the general web to be able to see this post, or do you just want to see members of the community see this post. It's up to you, so you can set it to public or members only. So that's kind of the activity feed overview. Members, again, if you click on the members tab, you'll see all the different members of Planet Verify. You'll be able to search members, follow members, and receive notification when a member does make a post. Groups, again, groups, you can join a group to start a discussion. I want to add everybody is already automatically added to the webinars group by default. So you do not have to add or join the webinars group. You're automatically assigned to that. However, all this product specific groups, you could go in there, join the group, start a new discussion, or reply to discussions to help out your peers. So subscribe and reply to discussions is a great way to earn points. So yeah, we reward you along the way. Another way to earn a bunch of points right away is to complete your profile. So when you log in to planetverify.com for the first time, you can go up to your little avatar, your little icon, and go to your profile and edit. And what you're going to want to do is update your username, handle, or just kind of a username. It's going to be defaulted to Explorer-1234. You'd want to make that something a little more specific or creative to yourself. We really highly recommend you update that handle or username right away. If you want to share your company name, you can do that. Job title, state, country, that's great. Those are not required, but it kind of helps others in the community kind of see what vertical you might work under: healthcare, high tech, nonprofit. You know, it's a way to kind of connect with others using Verify the same way. Again, when you complete your profile, you'll gain a bunch of points and you'll be on your way to earn badges and on your way through the ranks. So that's kind of your profile here. Didn't want to share too many slides. I'm just going to get into it here. I'm going to jump into Planet Verify. Again, you'll be presented with a login screen. It's your email and your login to verify.com. Again, if you do not have this login, please reach out to your account manager or any of our sales engineers, or just kind of hit us up in the chat and we'll direct message you and get you your account number and get your account all set up on verify.com. So you need a verify.com account to get in and be able to interact in Planet Verify. So here I am, I'm on activity by default. You'll see on the left all of our latest webinars. Webinars are every single Wednesday for 30 minutes. It's our weekly Wednesday webinars hosted by our sales engineers. It's hosted by engineers for engineers, our customers, right? So we really get down into the weeds on specific topics within our products on these weekly Wednesday webinars. So we'll always have the monthly webinar series here in the upper left. Right now we're displaying September's. This is going to pretty soon switch to October. November, December, you'll always have the latest webinars there to kind of click on and join. In the center here, Block Party, this is kind of marketing. This is going to switch out. This will show what we're kind of interested in promoting in Verify, whether it's a new product, it's an event, where we're going to be next, etc. So look for this to change out weekly or monthly. On the right, this is you. This is our community. These are our top monthly contributors, people helping other Verify users and gaining points along the way. And hopefully, you know, this is kind of movers and shakers, right? This is going to change out every month based on the performance and what's going on in the community. Lower right or lower left, who you're following. I'm following mostly employees on Verify right now, but I can follow, I can follow anybody I want, right? And I'm going to get notified when they make a post, they reply to a discussion forum topic, etc. On the far right here, recently active members. This kind of shows you who's been online most recently, right? So if you were going to reach out and try to get a question answered, you kind of want to look over here and see who's been active most recently, because you know they're probably still got the tab open in their browser, or they've been on Planet Verify extremely, most recently. So groups, the groups kind of widget on the right, it shows you the active groups. It looks like webinars was active 13 seconds ago. Cantina, this is kind of water cooler talk, right? Active 35 seconds ago. Block Party, active 49 seconds ago. So this will show you all the groups that have the latest activity or posts or replies, etc. Newest, these are the most recently created groups, right? We added success stories. We get a lot of good feedback from our customers, and we're very grateful. And we like to share those success stories. So that was the most recent group we've created, so on and so forth. And then popular, all-time popular, how the most members, the most discussion topics, etc. That'll be under popular. All right, the start a post. So this is a general post. This is just, this is a general post. This isn't specific to a product. This is just kind of stream of consciousness. You want to address the community. You want to ask a super high level question. Again, if you have a product specific question, you'd want to start that in a group, in a discussion within a group. But I could post a general, topic here, or a general post here. I can give it a bold. I can start a unordered list or put a block quote around it. I can add a photo, right? I can add a photo. I can upload a report or a PDF. I can use Giphy and add a fun Giphy animation here, looping GIF. Emojis. Everybody loves emojis. If you use Slack, if you use basically any chat client, you'll emojis are the thing now. So we give you a bunch of opportunity, or a bunch of different ways to add an emoji here. So simple as that. Post an update and boom, I'll be at the top of the feed in Variphy community. All right, let's get into members. So if I go into members, I can see we have 105 total members. I can see with this little green light who's online right now and when they were most recently active. If I weren't following all these people, I could go ahead and click follow. And now I'm following Pat, and I will be updated whenever Pat replies, starts a new discussion, does anything. I'll see it up in the right hand side here. I'll see on my notifications bell, I'll see a little red dot that'll show an update or notification. You can also search for members, so I can search. Pretty powerful way to look for my buddy Jim here, and I am following him. So that's kind of like members. You can see basically the entire community, and that's kind of how you're going to connect with other users. Groups, again, very important. I'd go in here and I'd follow all the features and groups I'm interested in, so I get notified of any updates or any questions I can help out with in these groups. Cube reporting, this is coming out in our new 12.3 launch at the end of this month. So we'll have a lot of activity in Cube. Cantina, again, water cooler talk. CDR, majority of our customers, leverage or use our CDR reporting. So this is a place to get some of those specific running report search criteria, different questions you have around CUCM CDR reporting. And again, you'll see we have all of our features in here. Planet Podcast. We're planning to have a monthly podcast where we discuss all UC topics, not just specific to Variphy, but we want to keep it fun. So we're going to call it Planet Podcast, and we're always looking for topics to discuss. We are the subject matter experts in the space, and we want to just basically, hopefully, share our knowledge with you and our perspective on things going on in the UC community. So Planet Podcast is underway, and we're looking for topics to discuss. What's new? If you haven't been to What's New on our website, this is kind of all the new things, all the enhancements, all the bug fixes, all the new features we're launching. What's New will kind of be a kind of a duplicate page on what's on the website, but in a way where you can interact in What's New. Variphy Cloud, we launched this a few months back. This is our cloud offering. We're gaining cloud customers here now, and this is a place to discuss anything within Variphy Cloud, so on and so forth. Roadmap, we do have some groups that are kind of private, so you can always request access to private groups. All you'd have to do is request access here on this link, and we can give you access. So that's kind of it. The activity feed kind of goes around the entire community and surfaces all these discussions and forum posts and likes and replies. Members are an entire community where you can go and find people and follow people. Groups, this is where you ask the real questions and start discussions on products, etc. And all the while, you go to Planet Guide, it kind of gives you a high level bird's eye view on what I'm explaining to you here, but this also explains points. You know, by doing things around the community, you'll earn points, and with points, you'll earn different badges, and with those badges and points, you'll go through the ranks. And we have leaderboards as well. Right now, we're doing the top contributors for the month, but again, this is just, we're starting out here. Super simple point system, super simple badges you can earn, and then get and earn your way through the ranks. We're going to continually roll out different areas to Planet. It might be education, again, it might be certification. We have the Early Explorer program, where if you are an advocate or super user of Verify, you can help others and earn points faster by taking advantage of our Early Explorer program. I know some of you already have. If you're interested, please reach out to myself on Planet or anybody on the marketing team or any Verify employee on Planet. We can get you set up on the Early Explorer program. This is a way to really get your questions, other folks' questions answered by these super users or power users of Verify. So it's users helping other users in their own way of doing things. Up here, my profile. So if I click on my name, I could go into my profile and edit. Again, this is the other way. Another way to gain points very quickly is when I come in here for the first time, I'll see Explorer12345 as my handle or username. I'm going to want to update this to something that I like, something more specific to me. So I highly recommend you going in, updating your handle. If you want, you can share your company, your title, where you're from. Again, these company job title, these are not required. It's just up to you if you want to save those. You can upload a photo. We highly recommend uploading a personal photo or an avatar or a picture of yourself, so it puts a face to the name. And then a cover photo. This is kind of the background backdrop behind your profile. You can really get creative with that. And then profile status. You know, how you're feeling at the moment. Which, you know, we have all these different emojis you can use as your status for that week or that month or that day. So you can set your status as well. When you're done, you save your profile, and everything should be updated on Planet Verify. And Justin Justin commented on one of my updates. So if somebody does comment, I'll get a little, you know, box flash on my screen and kind of tell me what's going on, and I can see in my notifications, I do have a new notification up there. So thanks, Justin, for that. Search, last but not least, search. So if I search CDR, I'm going to get a autocomplete type ahead search. I'm going to get the top 5 from the KB, top 5 from around the user community, so on and so forth. And if it's something that I'm actually interested in clicking on in the type ahead search, I could click on that. But if I hit return, I'm going to get the full segmented search. So when I hit enter, I'm going to see, I searched for CDR. I'm going to see what were the results across our entire knowledge base, across all of our forum discussions, replies, groups, comments, media, you know, documents that have CDR within PDFs or within titles of images, etc. This is what we call this segmented search. We are pulling in knowledge base articles from kb.verify.com. In no way is this replacing KB. This is just pulling those search results from KB. And if I were to click on this search result, I'm going to go right into the knowledge base on that article. And I can go right back here and be within Planet Verify. So highly recommend using the search as well. And it's a great way to go search the knowledge base while all the while not leaving the community. So with that, we're going to do QA in a bit, but I think we wanted to get on to something more kind of not more exciting, but something that we had posted on LinkedIn about a month ago, which was our Get Social contest. We asked you to @mention us. We asked you to like our post, and we asked you, if you hadn't already followed us, follow us as a company, and you would be entered to win a Series 6 Apple Watch. So with that, we're going to post the winner. on Planet Verify. I think we had over 70 of you our customers, people who haven't heard of us, 70 of you enter this contest. And let's see what we got here. Let's see who our winner is. Again, thank you for entering these contests. And it'll be even more fun announcing these winners on our brand new community. So drum roll, please. I'm going to hit the home page here, and we shall see who our lucky winner is. Oh, thank you, Jenna, for posting. The winner of our Get Social contest on LinkedIn. You did all the right things. You mentioned our company, you liked our post, and you followed us as a company. Bob Martinez, you have just won an Apple Series 6 watch. Congratulations. Your account manager will be reaching out to you for shipping instructions and all that good stuff. Again, thank you, Bob Martinez, for entering our Get Social contest on LinkedIn. Amazing. Right on. All right, with that, let's get into some QA. I think we might have Dan or our CDR Ninja standing by who might have seen some chat questions come in of anything Planet Verify. Any QA that we might have?
Yeah, Phil, we got a lot of chatter coming through here.
Oh, okay.
I think the biggest thing coming through is many people would like an understanding of how they could grab their t-shirts. So if you could just cover that real quick.
How they can grab their t-shirts.
Yeah, for their Block Party t-shirts for this year.
Yeah, Block Party t-shirts. So if you attended Block Party, we will be sending a survey out after Block Party. And in the survey, we'll be asking for your address and your shipping instructions, and we'll be sending out every single attendee of Block Party your Verify custom Planet Verify launch t-shirt. So look for the follow-up email. You can also reach out to your account manager to send that information as well, and we'll get your shirt and shirt size shipped out. So
excellent. And I know you mentioned kind of the syncing of KB articles from our support page over to Planet. They're wondering if they can open a ticket direct from Planet, and can they find their answers that way?
Currently, there isn't a way to open a support ticket from Planet. You can always reach out to support@verify.com, but that is definitely something we can consider is putting a button on Planet to create a support ticket as well. We do have all SCs on Planet there to answer your question as well. But if it is something that we need to take off outside of the community and really need to deep dive on some support issue, this is definitely not meant to replace support in any way. But to answer your question, there is no link on Planet Verify to create a support ticket currently. No.
Okay, very good. And this is kind of like a double-sided question to that, but question wondering, can they direct message or direct message a Verify technician through Planet?
There is no way to DM. You can @mention, and that will ping a specific user on Planet to come back into Planet and see what you had to say. But there's no way to take it outside of the community in a DM and talk to them offline. But that is some functionality that we have that we just haven't made available in the community currently. Yeah.
Perfect. And the last question I'm seeing is it possible to create user groups themselves as a user, or if they're not seeing something that currently fits their questions?
Yeah, so we have not made the being able to create a group available for customers. We can create groups, and if you have a group that you want created, you can definitely reach out to us, and we'll get that group created. But the end user does not have the ability to create a group currently. We're trying to keep it very organized, just at the start here. But if you really feel like we're missing something, we need a group created, please reach out and we'll create that group for you.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks, Phil. That is all we got for now. And I'd like to remind anyone, if anyone has any further questions, post them in the Vimeo chat, and we got our team standing by, and we'll get those answered live for you. So thanks, Phil.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Dan. Thanks for the questions. Again, this is the early stages of the community. We definitely are starting to see more traction, and we're getting some great questions and being able to answer and help out our customers, and that's the whole point. So again, I want to thank you all for attending Block Party. Again, we have this vintage t-shirt contest. We will be shipping out new custom Planet Verify t-shirts to all the attendees here today, which you could use to enter the contest as well. And that ends on September 30th. And our panel is going to pick the top 5 best, most creative photos with the t-shirt, and they'll win $100 Amazon gift card. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Prize Patrol, TLT, for our second round of prizes. Take it away.
All right, thanks, Phil. Planet Verify sounds super awesome, and we can't wait to see what you all post. Like Phil said, we have some more exciting prizes for you all. This round of prizes includes 2 more $50 Amazon gift cards and a home kegerator with a Bevmo gift card. So that's for all you beer lovers out there.
Woo-hoo.
I'm jealous. Before we announce the next round of winners, though, we have a fun game planned. Taylor, want to tell us about it?
All right, everybody. So, I don't know if you guys have heard of this game, but it is called Bean Boozled. So pretty much, it's a game with jelly beans. They all have a color, so the color is either something yummy or something disgusting. Linnea and I are going to spin the wheel, hopefully get a good flavor, but I know you want to watch us suffer, so I know you're hoping we get a nasty flavor. But let me read off these flavors to you so you can just begin to understand how disgusting it can get. So we have berry blue or toothpaste, birthday cake or dirty dishwasher, peach or barf, tutti frutti or stinky socks, coconut or spoiled milk, toasted marshmallow or stink bug, chocolate pudding or canned dog food, buttered popcorn or rotten egg, or juicy pear or booger, or strawberry banana smoothie or dead fish. I'm least excited for barf. If I get barf, I will barf on camera. So nonetheless, let's get started.
These all sound super tasty, by the way.
This is gonna be really great with my coffee. So
All
let's
right.
get started. I'll go first. We're gonna play about 3 rounds each. So I'm gonna hold this a little bit flat so it can spin right. But first round, tutti frutti or stinky socks. Okay, let me see. So we have this little bag of jelly beans here. Gonna open it up. Tutti frutti is the rainbowish one. I'm honestly scared. Okay, here it is.
I hope
Tutti
it's
frutti
stinky
or
socks.
stinky socks. Oh,
Which one is it?
oh, it's stinky socks.
Oh, gross!
Bruh.
Ew.
Oh no!
Oh my god.
All right, I guess it's my turn, and karma is coming for me. So let's find out which flavor I have to eat. I got chocolate pudding or canned dog food. So
Please be dog food.
let's find it. Okay. Please be chocolate pudding.
Dog food, dog food, dog food.
Here we go.
The anxiety leading up to it is.
Ah, it's
Bruh.
dog food.
Bruh.
Ew! Oh, that's so gross.
You guys, when we were practicing this, we were getting
This
good
tastes
flavors.
bad.
So this is our first time getting the nasty flavors, and this is brutal.
Ugh.
Okay.
It's salty.
It's disgusting. Okay, I'll go next. Please don't get barf. Please don't get barf. Please don't get barf. Please don't get barf.
Ugh.
Strawberry banana smoothie or dead fish. Oh,
That's
wonderful.
disgusting.
That sounds great. Okay, wait.
Ugh.
Dead fish. It's like peach with red spots.
Ugh.
I think it's this one. Okay. Okay, I'm scared.
Oh,
Oh, strawberry banana. Thank God.
I could have spit it out. Oh man.
Oh, I completely spit out. I did not swallow that. Wow, strawberry banana actually tastes good. Okay.
All right. Okay.
1 for 1. Let's go.
Okay. Next one. Next one. Juicy pear or booger? Last time I got juicy pear, so fingers crossed it's juicy pear again.
Did you ever eat boogers as a kid? Or just me?
I plead the fifth on that one. Here we go. Juicy pear or booger?
Booger.
Juicy pear.
Oh. Dang it.
Delicious.
Okay.
So much better than canned dog food.
Last one. Thank God. I'll go next. Okay. Okay. Coconut or spoiled milk? Okay, it's the white one. I think I've had spoiled milk before in my life. I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, it's this white one here. Coconut or spoiled milk? I saw a comment that said props to Linnea for not spitting it out. So if it's gross, I'm not gonna spit it out. Okay.
I like the cinnamon or ghost.
Oh
pepper
my
idea.
God.
Oh no!
Bruh.
Did you get spoiled milk?
That is disgusting. I'm gonna swallow it. Down the hatch.
So gross!
Well, I have to chew it first because it's too big. Okay.
Oh no! Oh
Ew.
man!
Oh my God.
Bruh.
Oh yikes!
Oh my God. I'm still chewing it. Okay.
Okay.
Why is
mine
it so
kinda
chewy?
Spin.
Okay.
Okay, I also got strawberry banana smoothie or dead fish. Should I try for another one, or should we see if the odds are in my favor?
Maybe try another one and
Okay,
see.
okay. Spinning again. Birthday cake or dirty dishwater? So it's kind of got these little polka dots on it. All right.
There's
let's
an
see.
aftertaste.
Oh no. Okay, here's one.
Dishwasher, 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 dishwasher.
Okay. Here we go. Birthday cake, please.
Dishwasher.
Bruh.
Oh, it's so gross. Oh. That is so gross.
Swallow it.
Gosh.
How do they make these? They have to use real stuff. Like, this is insane.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Linnea, that was our last one.
Oh
was
my
for
gosh,
you
this
guys,
is
the
so
viewers.
gross.
This was for you guys.
This is the worst thing I've ever tasted.
We put ourselves in pain for you all. Oh, that was like the longest 5 minutes of my life. Okay. That was disgusting. I need to go rinse my mouth.
Oh my god.
But before, I'll give you a moment. Before I do that, we're gonna give out 2 more $50 Amazon gift cards and the Kegerator and Bevmo gift card. Linnea, are you ready? Do you need a second?
Oh my gosh. Oh. That is so gross.
It was disgusting. Why do
Oh,
we do this
man.
for ourselves, honestly?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Fun time. Okay.
Let's see. So the results are in. Let us see. Our first Amazon gift card winner is Anthony Johns. Congratulations, Anthony. Woo! Do not buy Bean Boozled with that $50.
Do not. Absolutely not. It's
Save
we got
yourself.
off Amazon, but don't do it yourself. And the $50 Amazon gift card, the second one goes to Jay Thomas. Woo! I'm sorry, that noise is gonna get old quick, but
All right, and now the home kegerator, who I will be super jealous of the winner of this because that sounds really awesome. As well as the Bevmo gift card. The winner for that is Daniel Duarte! Yay!
woo!
Mind don't make noise,
Daniel.
but Congratulations! All right. Once again, those winners are Anthony Johns with the first Amazon gift card, Jay Thomas with the second Amazon gift card, and Daniel Duarte with the home kegerator and Bevmo card. Congratulations, guys.
Congrats, everybody. Next up, we're going to hear a success story from one of our customers, Kevin Healy from TrueBlue. Thanks, guys. See you all soon.
Hello, I'm Kevin Sweeney with Variphy, and you're watching Quick Takes, where I speak with customers about their experience using Variphy products. Today, I have the pleasure of being joined by Kevin Healy from TrueBlue. Kevin, thank you so much for sitting down with us today.
How you guys doing?
Doing well, thank you. To get started, what is your role at TrueBlue?
I'm a telecom engineer for TrueBlue. I oversee 4 different CUCM clusters. We've got a corporate cluster, a branch cluster, a cluster out in India, and in Poland. So we're quite spread out over the world.
And how large would you say your Cisco deployment is?
We've got over 7,000 endpoints across all 4 of those clusters. We have to split them up basically just for division of business, but we oversee all of them together.
Okay, that's pretty big. What prompted the need for a solution like Variphy? Can you just walk us through your previous day-to-day and some of the problems you guys were facing and how you went from this is acceptable to I need something better?
Yeah, as technologies change, as I kind of joined the telecom team a few years back, we were on an old Avaya system, which meant we had an old reporting system, which was fine. It was a little clunky. It served its purpose, but as we moved into the VoIP space and moved our company over to Cisco, we needed a better, robust reporting tool. And the business required it. If it was up to us engineers, it wouldn't be on my list. But the business certainly, and that's who we all work for. They want that metrics, they want the reporting, and so that's what sought us out to look for a new reporting tool.
And how did you initially hear about Variphy?
Plain old research. Google got on there, looked at Magic Quadrants, looked at the best in class. We interviewed a few different companies. I think we kept coming back to Variphy, and it was pretty clear to us that they were the tool we wanted.
Now that you've been using Variphy for a while, what has your experience been like?
We're producing reporting for the business now at a level of detail we've never been able to before. And so if we can make our business happy, it certainly makes us happy. And that's kind of what we're here for in the telecommunication world, is to support our business. So reporting on that is just, it's as key as producing the dial tone.
Can you explain what your experience with the deployment process was like?
Once we got on board, it was really easy. The engineers at Variphy are just some of the best in class that we've ever worked with. Worked with our engineers. We got our space set up, our server space set up. The deployment was really easy. Once we were up and running, we were pulling CDR data in Variphy with no trouble at all, producing reports and the whole thing.
As an overall solution, how would you rate Variphy?
I think it's, again, we painstakingly chose it. So I'm real happy with our selection. We're over a year and a half into it now, and I have no complaints. It's producing everything we want, real nice, clear reporting for the business. They're the ones that have to analyze it. So less work for me to have to do, and I can set up these nice scheduled reports for them. So it really takes me kind of out of the reporting business once it's set up.
Could you talk a little bit about some of Variphy's features and which ones you find most useful?
I think what Variphy offers is the scheduling of the reports, the dashboards. Those things are so easy to get set up and make them business intuitive. So while the CDR raw data is so hard to understand, what Variphy does so well is convert that into something that the business, the market managers can understand and really sink their teeth into and make real business decisions off of.
And what about your experience with Variphy support? What has that been like?
Ease of use, and again, support is just best in class. I can't hammer that home enough. Variphy support is just best I've ever had, really.
Kevin, can you talk to us a little bit about what aspects influenced your decision to choose Variphy?
we didn't know now what we knew then, or vice versa. I didn't know then what I know now. And some of the things I didn't know even to look for was this great support that was going to come along with it, the ease of use. I'd come out of the VeriSmart days and it was a lot more clunky. I kind of assumed all reporting was that way. So I was just pretty much keep an open mind. And we're real glad we came across Variphy.
All right, that is all I've got for this installment of Quick Takes. My name is Kevin Sweeney, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kevin Healy from TrueBlue, on your testimonial. It's really always great hearing how Variphy can help you and your organization. So thank you for those kind words. All right, everyone, on to our next section, which will be our product update. Today, Dan Schmidt, I'm going to be joined with Derek Falter, Senior Product Manager here at Variphy, and we will be covering 3 items today. Just a quick recap of what you guys could see in our current GA release, which is 12.2.4, and then what we will be introducing here in just a few short weeks, which is our 12.3.0 release. A lot of exciting things that went into that. And then after that, Derek will be taking the lead here and providing you all some insight into what we have in the works, both near and long term, for versions 12.3.x. So a lot of exciting stuff. All right, so before we get started, guys, today I want to do a little bit of interactive components here. And so we've got a couple polls throughout today's session. We want to hear from you. So if everyone can take out their mobile or cell devices, take a quick scan of the QR code. That's going to redirect you to slido.com. If you don't have your mobile device near you, go ahead and just browse to slido.com and go ahead and punch in that session ID number. I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to go ahead and get loaded up and signed in, and we'll go ahead and resume from there. Main purpose of this, guys, today is for us to really be able to hear you, our customer, our valued customer and partners. We definitely take to heart, and this is the core to Variphy. We take to heart what our customers are wanting and what they're looking for. So this is just an avenue to go ahead and hear from you, our valued customers and partners. All right, so if everybody is signed in to Slido, I'm going to activate the poll here. And the first question is, what version are you currently running, or what version of Variphy are you currently running in your environment? So we'll keep this up for a minute or two. We like to take a look to see what versions are out there. Obviously, we want any of the older versions to be upgraded here. So it looks like this is changing quickly, so definitely appreciate the responses. We've got 13 current responses, with the majority of people running a 12.2 version. 12.2.4 just took the lead with 20 submissions. Give the last couple seconds for everyone to submit their answers here. All right, so with about 25 respondents, we see about 33, still increasing. Very good, excellent. 33% running our 12.2.4 release, which is our current GA. That's exactly what we like to see. For the 28 or 24% that are running a 12.2.x version, right? Please contact us. We're looking to get you upgraded to our current GA release, currently 12.2.4. In a few weeks, that will be 12.3.0. I do want to take a moment to thank any of our 12.3 EFT participants that have helped us out. Looks like quite a few have installed and tested 12.3 for us, so definitely appreciate that. We couldn't get this to where it is at today without your input, so thank you guys so much for partaking in our EFT process, and thank you all for submitting your replies. All right, so a quick agenda of what I will be covering today. And then, like I said, I'll be handing it over to Derek, Mr. Falter there towards the end, and he'll be covering some long-term roadmap items. So just really quick here, some of the most notable items for what we have in our current release 12.2.4. This is where we introduced our verified cloud offering, CDR-only call analytics in your own dedicated namespace, giving you the possibility to process data in a hybrid model, both on-prem in your local database, and or if you wish to publish it up into a Verify hosted, Verify maintained database. Again, dedicated namespace, so you are not sharing that section or that namespace with any other customers. Everything's dedicated to you. It is Verify's responsibility to maintain all that data and to help you out and getting some reports stood up here. So that was the main item in 12.2.4. What we'll be covering here in just a few minutes is the call secured status criteria, both a search criteria option and a detail in our call analytics. And then lastly, our support for Call Manager in Unity 14, and we'll show you the intricacies with 14 support there. Some other minor improvements and bug fixes that you guys can expect in 12.2.4 is we did do a major overhaul of the way we perform CUCM sync. Very common misconception, thinking that a CUCM sync is needed for all implementations. That simply is just not the case. For those with very large enterprise systems, we may be doing a CUCM sync and performing actual queries to bring back anything ranging from end user data to department data to device description and device types. Anything that's not local to CUCM CDR files themselves, right? We're marrying up that actual query from your call manager to that CDR data to give you a leg up and to provide you some additional search capabilities. Another fix that we've improved in 12.2.4 is the way we perform DN management and the some fixes with these incorrect statuses coming across. For unavailable DNs in a prior release, right, we would incorrectly state that a DN was unavailable when in actuality it was available. We have also improved our logic for the call forward scenario. So in our call summary analytics here, we got all of our different call scenarios and call types. We've improved the behind the scenes logic to determine what a forwarded call is. For those of you, having users outside of admin users logging into the application, we've improved our behind the scenes logging for authentication into the application. So, that would be, the auth.log file within the logs file directory on the back end. Being able to just get a lot more information within that log to make sense of what's going on. And then very similar to the DN management component that we fixed is a DID management component that we fixed. We did find that if you were using wildcards within your search criteria, we are actually returning the incorrect status. So we've gone and fixed that. Now your DID searches will certainly contain the correct status when you use a wildcard search criteria. What I want to focus on, though, today is what we're shipping and what you guys can expect to see in our 12.3 release. Again, this release is going to be out in just about 2 weeks, the end of September. So a lot has gone into this. So a huge thanks to the dev team for their hard work and diligence to get this out on time because it is jam-packed with excellent features and a lot of improvements as well. So as we've already stated, you've seen the social posts, you've seen the traffic on planet.verify.com. And for those of you that have helped us with our Cube Call Analytics CFT, thank you. This is going GA here in a few weeks. So we'll get into the Cube Call Analytics. I know we've done a lot of sessions on Cube already. But the main purpose, and we actually have a dedicated session, deep dive technical session going over just Cube data. But the main purpose here is, right, you will obviously see information in Cube Call Analytics that you simply may not in CUCM Call Analytics. So it's a very complementary tool to what we already have. And so we'll be covering that in a much more technical fashion here in later in the hour. We've introduced the ability to do report and alert delivery via WebEx chat. So currently we've always had the ability to send alerts or reports via email, reports to FTP servers, and then most recently our repository, which is that directory path on the back end of the server, and issuing either a link that will go download that report or just save that file to the back end with no sort of delivery. We've introduced WebEx chat capability for delivery, so we're going to go into details on that in just a second. Real quick, standard for TLS 1.3 on HTTPS traffic. We've also fixed some upgrade support components to that. A new component, CCX handle time and ring no answer contact disposition for those of you using our UCCX analytics. Much anticipated, and we heard from all of our customers loud and clear the ability to do UCCX H over failover support. So we're going to be showing you that here in a few minutes as well. Personal favorite of mine, auto user provisioning. Again, you, the community, you, the customer base and partner base have told us we need to make it easier for onboarding new customers if you're outside of the admin group. So we've went ahead and we've built that, and that you can expect to see in our 12.3.0 release as well. Brand new to the release is grouping search set support for DN and others. This is a very, very wide range of improvements, but in a wider range of grouping search sets. So if your primary grouping type is, let's say, original call party number, right? We're giving you a lot more capability to then further group that search set into a wealth of different things, things ranging from DN to device type, description, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to be showing you a couple images of that. And last but not least, the last two is some new search time window options when you're running reports, and the ability or the improvement of rate table caching for those of you using rate tables. As always, to stay up to date with what is current in our current release of what we're working on and what you guys can expect coming soon, please visit verify.com/what's-new. We're always posting to that to make everyone aware of what's coming up. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it here. For this case, we're just going to be doing slide images and some examples of what we have new. Okay, so first things first is our secured status field. Again, this is a detail option in your search results as well as a search criteria option. And basically what this is for those of you using any sort of encryption in your calls, it logs the highest level of encryption on any given call. So it's a ID 0 through 2, starting with 0. 0 represents non-secured, and so that basically means there has been no authentication and no encryption on a call. This is most likely going to be your default. Most of you will see these values. For more secure type environments, you're going to be seeing authenticated and secured. So ID number 1, which is authenticated, that basically means the call got authenticated but did not complete encryption. So you're halfway there. And then last but not least is value ID of 2, which is completely secured and encrypted. And that is the highest level of encryption that you're having within any given call record. Okay, so if mid-call you escalate to encrypt that call, Cisco is actually logging that with an ID of 2 of secured. It's going to log the highest level of encryption experienced in a single call. Okay, so we now have support for the secured status field. All right, to get a little bit deeper into what we mean by CUCM 14 support, it really revolves around our as-built reporting and snapshot capabilities, but we've added some components into those tools if you use those. First things first is headset management. This is a new report for those of you managing headsets, just like any other devices in your UCM. We do now have an as-built report that will report off of information of your configured headsets. You can see an image here down at the bottom, kind of displaying the headset serial number, the latch connection status, the device name, firmware version, and serial numbers of those devices, right? We treat them just like a hard phone, basically nowadays. For those that are using Cisco branded headsets, you can see the Cisco 520 or 530. We're going to be able to indicate like the model being used. For non-Cisco branded headsets or general USB headsets like a Jabra or Plantronics, we're going to indicate USB audio device and then the USB as the vendor, just because it's non-Cisco specific. The second improvement for CUCM 14 support is our line association of end user. This is basically a report that's going to contain the directory number, the partition being used, and associated end user to that DN. Up to today, or up to this, we basically only did user associations to devices. And so now we are able to see DN associations to end users. Next is phone activation codes for those doing user activations for new devices. This is a new report that contains a lot of the device related information, the device name, the device description, the owner user or the user that's associated at the device level in Call Manager, and then also the expiration time of when that activation code expires. Okay. And last but not least, a very minimal report, but it's there nonetheless, is the Expressway C configuration for those using MRA. Being able to go into your Expressway C configurations within UCM. This report's basically going to include the configuration name, the description, and then both the 509 certificate subject name and subject alternate name, sorry. So yeah, it's just a very, very brief report giving you the specifics on that configuration within your UCM. So that is CUCM 14 support. Everything that you've witnessed prior to 14, in 12.5, that is obviously rolled over as well. So we're just adding a little bit as a reporting capability for that. All right, just to take a second on the 12.3 items. This is where we're going to spend the majority of our time here, but just real quick, cube call analytics. Again, we've shown this slide previously, so it might be a little bit redundant for you all. But cube call analytics, why cube call analytics? Why do I need this if I have CUCM CDR? And simply put, is there's a lot of information in cube data you simply don't get in CUCM CDR. 130 fields of detailed information. Everything ranging from troubleshooting data to understanding event flows through a call sequence. And it is very event and feature rich, meaning it's logging what is taking place within a call experience instead of just the statistical information with numbers dialed and devices used. Though it has that, it gives you a lot more to go off of. And so, Victor and I later will be going over some specifics and some specific use cases of cube call analytics. So keeping, excited to attend that session here later. All right, so starting off with some examples for our WebEx chat report and alert delivery. Again, part of EFT, but now this is becoming GA here in just a few weeks. Being able to deliver reports and alerts via your WebEx app or via chat if you're using the application. And this is all based off of the WebEx Developers API. So anyone with a Cisco WebEx account can log into https://developers.webex.com, create a new bot. It's going to ask you to indicate a bot name, a unique user ID, and this user ID that it's going to ask for is a Cisco WebEx global identity. So it has to be unique across all other bots. And then there's a description of the bot here. This user ID I want to stress importance on because this is what's going to be used when you go into your WebEx app and either create a group or a direct message. You're calling out that @bot name. And so that's what associates that bot to a specific group. When you're going out and configuring that bot on WebEx site, it's actually going to give you a bot token. And this is what allows us to perform our API reads and calls and everything like that. I've got mine blurred out here on top, but from Cisco's WebEx website, you're basically just going to copy out that bot token. And in our application, you'll see a new delivery method. So you're going to see your SMTP servers, you're going to see your FTP servers. Well, an additional option is the WebEx bot, chatbot. So we're going to ask you for that bot token that Cisco gave you. And then once you apply that bot token, that is what links up any discovered user groups or direct message sessions using that bot ID. And so you can see I've included my test bot into a group in WebEx there. And so this automatically populates up as my Dan's test verify bot group, because that's what the association states. And from there, I could go ahead and send a test message. If successful, right, then you get into the ability to use this bot once you run reports or build out schedules or even your call-based alerts. Okay, so kind of exceeding the need of traditional email, right? I would say it's a much more looked at method of delivery is if you have a chat message with an attachment or a link pointing to the Verify server that will go download that report. I think that's going to be looked at probably a lot more quicker than email would. But with this, any sort of chat delivery, it's going to give you an additional insight, a lot quicker access than waiting for email to bounce. This is pretty much instantaneous. So yeah, new support for WebEx chat delivery on reports and alerts in 12.3. All right, next let's talk a little bit about our UCCX handle count and ring no answer contact dispositions. Again, this is primarily driven from the user community, so thank you for this suggestion. We've gone ahead and added this. What we've noticed is that if you're running various reports in CUIC, that a lot of times that the data just doesn't mesh well. And the reason here is Cisco will log in a given agent call sequence. If you have multiple agents involved in a call sequence, and maybe it rang those devices and bounced over to other agents, and then at least one other agent actually answered and handled that call, it would actually log all the other agents with a handled call record count. And so we looked at it, and we said, well, that's not right. We shouldn't be giving credit to people that aren't actually handling and answering that call. So what we've done is we've created a new contact disposition called RNA, ring no answer. And so what we see is with the logic and the data that's supplied to us via the CCX Informix database, we're able to go out and determine the people that are allowing calls to RNA on their device and then hop elsewhere. And so on the top here in the blue image, you can kind of see an example of what it used to be like. Okay, so we would give Bruce, Charlie, and Kenny here 5 presented calls, but Bruce actually had 5 handled calls when we know Bruce didn't actually handle all 5 calls. Kenny here actually would have handled all those calls. At the bottom in the yellow section, you can kind of now see that we're splitting out the handled calls versus the ring no answer calls. And so we will give you the units as counts, times, or percentages, just to keep it consistent with the rest of the application as we have it today. But now you can see with the newer logic that Bruce was presented 5 calls, but Bruce did not actually answer all 5 calls or handle all 5 calls. Bruce only handled 3 calls, and there were actually two calls that ring no answered Bruce's phone. So we're giving credit where credit is due, basically here, to put it in a nutshell. And we're giving you the supporting statistics. So as a team supervisor comes in, right, Kenny is getting the majority of the credit here instead of Charlie or Bruce, because they're not doing the work here, right? They're just letting calls come in and ring elsewhere. Okay. So that is CCX handle count and ring no answer contact dispositions new in 12.3.0. All right. Again, we heard you loud and clear. Most everyone runs at least a dual node CCX cluster. You got your publisher and subscriber. And in the case where your primary node failed over to your subscriber, it was always difficult within our application to either reestablish a connection manually, which is what we basically had to do. We also saw that if you had a secondary node configured, it really wasn't doing anything. It was informational at that time. Now it completes the picture, and indicating that secondary node address will allow you to both do a manual and automatic failover in the case of a failover event on UCCX. We strip it down to 2 connection types. We have our Informix database connection, which is using our HR user password, and then the finesse connection, right? So it is very possible to have finesse and the constructs of UCCX separate or separate of each other. Not all the time do you have to have finesse co-res with the Informix database. So this allows us to establish and maintain knowledge of what is our primary and what is our secondary connection, or what's being used at least. If a failover event does take place, our application will go out and send an email notification to whoever the admin contact is. So the admin user will be notified in the event that Variphy needs to switch connections and utilize that secondary server IP address information for the connection to get that information. Just as a loose term here, we're saying what we mean as active. Basically, active is meaning that the CCX server Variphy is currently trying to use or connect to, whether that be for like the analytics and the reports or the wallboards. It could be that active server can now either be the primary or secondary server. So in that screen image all the way to the right here, you see that a failover event did take place at September 2nd, 2021. At that time, we have gone and made our active database connection. So that's the connection to the Informix database, and it's the secondary server that we're using for connection on that. Though these components can be separate, you can see there that the active finesse server doesn't necessarily have to be the secondary node either. It could still remain as the primary server. It just depends the statuses of the services running on that primary node. And so we're going to indicate, and support basically all methods there. Okay. For switch back, it is a manual switch back to make your primary server the actual primary server after a failover event. And just as a general note here, right, a lot of you have seen this and you've probably contacted our support team. When you do indicate a primary and secondary node, that is going to change the constructs of your license. The license will be need to be recoded because it will generate a new server ID once you indicate that secondary server address. So again, a lot of this was manual back in the day where you would input a secondary server node address. It really didn't do anything in terms of application, but then we had to go update your license. So that still does take place today. So just know if you're only running a primary node today and put in a new secondary node, that will change the server ID that we need to use in order to code your license. So just as a heads up on that. All right, so that is UCCX H-over failover support. So much anticipated feature here for that. That is going to be in 12.3 here. All right, next, near and dear to me, auto user provisioning. I've worked with a slew of customers more on the enterprise side that had a lot of users to provision within the application. And, we heard, and it's not best to be mentioned that an administrator had to manually go out and provision each user individually. So what we've done is we've introduced a new concept of auto user provisioning. This will require the need for a SAML or Active Directory integration. And so once that SAML or Active Directory integration is made in Verify, we can perform auto user provisioning. Basically, what this is doing is you're going to set up your, for instance, a SAML IDP, and within that identity provider, you are indicating what users should be having access to the Verify application. And then if that user matches it up, the IDP is also performing the authentication of that user and then relaying them back to Verify. So what we've done is we're putting the onus of the IDP or the Active Directory to do the actual determination and authentication of that user. We are then just taking that relay back and we are associating a default user group. So for this to work, you need to build out a default user group that says any user that is sent over to Verify by means of our auto user provisioning get associated to this default user group. And this is very beneficial, right? Because not all users need to be admins. You might want to put in some manager type users, and they might have some data visibility restrictions, let's say, or access to specific groups or departments. You could build all that out in your default user group that you're going to associate to this group of individuals. So the security is inherited from that group. We're simply adding those users direct into those groups if the IDP or Active Directory successfully authenticates. Okay. Anytime one user or anytime a slew of users get added automatically into the Verify application, again, we'll send an email notification to the admin user to notify that, hey, this user has now been added to the system. One thing to take note here is since it is auto adding these users, we're going to take the name format or the name ID format of however the external system, either the IDP, identity provider, or the Active Directory is actually set up. In some cases, you might set up your SAML identity provider to send a response with an email version of the user ID, or maybe just a UID of that user. So, you'll know that when setting up your external authentication type, but just as a note, you're going to see those users and Verify in whatever format you tell the external system, right? So a huge benefit and a huge time saver, rather, by using auto user provisioning. If you're provisioning more than 10 users, right, there's no need really anymore to build these users out manually one by one. You can do it automatically, provision out a SAML IDP or Active Directory connection and look at a specific search base of users, and then auto add them into the application. All right, next here is our grouping search at support for a directory number. I'm going to try to make a complicated matter not complicated here, but basically what this is doing in a nutshell is allowing you to perform a primary grouping within your call analytics tool. That part has not changed. It's what's happening after that. If you wanted to limit your results of your grouping summary table like we have here below, in this case, I'm grouping by calling party number, right? But you can see in the image in the upper right-hand corner, we're actually performing a grouping search set based off of a partition of that calling party number. So we are no longer restricted to, I know there were a lot of restrictions before. If you went from device to number or number to device, that would not be allowed previously. So we've expanded the options of allowed grouping search sets. So when you are selecting your primary group type and you wish to filter out those results from the grouping summary table, you're now allowed to provide one of many new grouping search set capabilities. In this case, going from calling party number down to partition, it's filtering out partition to only P2. And so you can see, well, I'm only seeing calling party numbers that are part of partition P2. Just some different examples. This will also apply for device descriptions, directory numbers, of course, the calling party, original called, final call party number, or a combination of any of those, right? So there's a lot of different capabilities there. So that is brand new to 12.3.0, so I want to take note of that as well. All right, and last but not least, before I hand it over to Derek here, just the other minor improvements that I want to talk a little bit about is support and consistent upgrade support for TLS 1.3, latest and greatest TLS version. A lot of you using HTTPS probably are in a TLS 1 or 1.1, hopefully a 1.2 here. 12.3 upgrade is going to bump that to TLS 1.3 if you're using HTTPS. But more importantly here, we've improved the remembrance of whatever TLS setting that you have previously set. So we used to have an issue where after, let's say, or I say, pre-upgrade, you've configured a certificate, a TLS cert, you've bumped our HTTPS config file up to TLS 1.2, and then you went and upgraded to our latest release. Previously, that would have bumped you back to our default of TLS 1, and that would have basically broke your secure connection. So this is going to retain that latest TLS release post upgrade. So definitely personally looking forward to this. So that should help matters quite a bit. To the bottom right here, we've introduced a slew of new time frame options. So again, requested from a lot of our customers here, the inability previously to do cross-day time searches. And so let's say you had a night shift that started at 8 p.m. and ended at the next day at 6 a.m. We really didn't have a good way of searching for that data. So now we've introduced previous 1 through 23 hours. So you can cross that time shift over days. And this is the main driver for that as well. So being able to do overnight shifts and giving the CDR in a fluid model, just like we always have for our other time frame options. Last but not least, don't really have an image here or anything to show, but improved performance when using rate tables. We have found that for those of you that are using rate tables and have a very large rate table data set installed, it would be slowing down both your dashboard widgets and your reports. And simply because the logic on the back end was having to go find a rate for every single call record. That no longer is the case. We're doing some improved caching on the back end in the database to associate a rate to a call record. So, next time you're going through and a dashboard widget is requerying over and over and over again the same data set, we're not needing to recalculate a rate for that entry. We're going to cache that into the back end. So major improvements there. So guys, that is it in a nutshell for new features you guys can expect to see in our up and coming release 12.3, again to be released last week of September. So be on the lookout, and obviously we're here to assist with the upgrades to 12.3. We're really stoked about this. There's a lot of features and a lot of things that we know customers have been waiting for. So please let us know if you need assistance in upgrading to 12.3. All right, so that's it on my part. I'm going to hand over my buddy Derek. Derek, if you could take it away, sir.
Sure thing. Thanks, Dan. I know we're all really excited to be delivering these great features in just a couple of weeks, as Dan just demonstrated through that awesome presentation. It's an absolutely jam-packed release, so I hope you're excited as well. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Derek Falter, and I've been on the product team here at Variphy for about 7 years now. Some of you may have met me in the past at Cisco Live events. I've been there doing some demos. I've been at the booth here and there. But if not, I think it's nice to virtually meet you now. Before I get into things, I wanted to quickly say thank you to all of our customers and our partners who are here today. Obviously, this wouldn't be possible without you and your support, and we greatly appreciate it here. So thanks again. Right now, we're looking at the agenda that I have for the product horizon. You might see a couple of themes here. There's a couple of things I want to go over that are both currently in the works and things that we have planned for next. Doesn't necessarily mean they're not being worked on now in some capacity, but they're just slated to come later. So I'll get into some of those timelines in the upcoming slides, but to go over a couple of what these things mean. So, for example, feature enhancements. You see the first bullet is current feature enhancements. Third is next feature enhancements. What are feature enhancements? These are medium to large scale improvements that to existing functionality that we already offer. Okay. In contrast to what I call initiatives, or what we refer to as initiatives here, initiatives are more high level product efforts. They're generally new product integrations for us or major new pieces of functionality that we're adding to an existing feature. So the separation there can be a little bit gray depending on the scale of a feature enhancement, but generally an initiative is something that we market out for our major releases, and I'll go over that in the upcoming slides. So after we go over some of those things, the last thing I want to do is get an audience pulse. I want to gauge the level of interest that we have on some of the future initiatives. So some things that are even beyond what I'm going to be talking about here. So let's see. Let's move on to my overview slide that I have. So I don't want to go into everything right here because I'm going to go into more detail in the upcoming slides. But here you can kind of see some of our current major initiatives that we're taking on right now are CDR data management and Microsoft Teams call analytics. So these are things, as I mentioned just a second ago, that we're expecting to come out in our next major release. So we don't have an exact time frame for you on that right now, but we're expecting it to be delivered within the next 12 or so months. So you can keep that in mind. And obviously, as we get closer to those, more into the development on these efforts, then we'll obviously have better timeframes. So for the current feature enhancements, as I mentioned, these are not lesser in terms of desirability, but maybe in terms of effort. Some of these things will actually be delivered in the next 3 to 6 months. Talking about the current feature enhancements in the top right of the screen here. Again, I don't want to say all of them will be, but I tried to structure this in such a way where if you're going from top to bottom, that's sort of the order of our priority and the order that we're going to be tackling things. As far as what release things are packaged into, it's a little bit nebulous because it depends just on exactly what things get done in what timeframes. But I just wanted to give you some sort of idea of the order that we're going to be going through these things. On the next list, on the bottom side of the slide here, you can see our next initiatives and our next feature enhancements. So these are obviously things we'll be working on after the current ones. But again, we might be getting into design even right now for some of them. So these are things that we're talking about as far as the initiatives are concerned, the next initiatives beyond the next 12 months. We're talking late 2022 and into 2023. So really, or fairly long-term horizon here. Whereas the next feature enhancements are things that some will be within the next 12 months, while others will be later next year and into 2023 alongside those next initiatives. So just again, going back to what Layne mentioned during his keynote, there's a couple of common themes that you'll see here. He mentioned that we're a people-first company, and you've heard this from Dan, you've heard it from Phil, you've heard it from pretty much everyone who's spoken at this point. Your feedback is a huge priority to us, and we take it very seriously, and we really enjoy delivering new features and products that you guys want. So that's something that you'll see as a theme throughout my presentation, and that you've probably already noticed throughout others' presentations. But a lot of these things, particularly the feature enhancements, are things that came from customer requests, directly from feedback that you guys said, hey, we really need this improvement. And we're listening, and we understand the need for it, and so we're going to build it. On top of that, we want to provide maximum clarity on your voice network. So again, I think Layne alluded to this during his keynote. That no longer just means Cisco for a lot of you. For some of you, it still does, and that's why Cisco is still the mainstay and the main feature enhancements that you're seeing on this screen. But you may have also noticed under the current initiatives, Microsoft Teams, and on our next initiatives, Zoom. We want to integrate with these other voice platforms to get you a full picture of your call analytics. Okay, we know that many of you out there are running hybrid environments, whether that's Microsoft Teams and Cisco, whether that's Zoom and Cisco, or some other combination that we haven't tapped into yet. We want to be able to be your analytics provider for all of those solutions and give you a total picture of your voice network. So those are kind of some of the things that we're getting into. Let's see. Moving on to our current feature enhancements slide. I'm going to go from the top left, kind of like you're reading a book, top left to the right, and then down to the bottom. Again, many of these are going to be delivered within the next 3 to 6 months, which is why I wanted to start with them, because they're more near term, I would say, than long term. So starting from the top left, we have brute force login protection. So some of you may not know what a brute force attack looks like. That's basically when hackers use trial and error to try and guess your login info. Often this is performed by bots so that many thousands of attempts can happen every second. This is obviously a problem for a lot of reasons. It can cause denial of service issues, and it can obviously, if they break a user or a password, then they've gained access to some system. These are things nobody wants to deal with. So how are we going to stop that? Well, the idea is we're going to have configurable policies that will prevent repeated access attempts at both the user and IP address levels. So that means if a user is trying to authenticate using random passwords or whatever multiple times within a set time frame, we'll be able to detect that and put them in what's called a jail. What that's going to do is not allow them to basically try to authenticate to your application anymore. We'll detect that this user or this IP address is jailed, and we won't try to authenticate them at all. And that is a really good way to prevent a brute force attack, because now these people can no longer, these bots, for example, can no longer try to try and guess your authentication information many times per second, because after, depending on what you configure, it will stop them. So that's where the configurable policies part of this comes in. You know, there's some of you may not want to prevent IP address level attacks. Some of you may not want to do user level. We're going to give you the ability to mix and match whatever makes sense for your enterprise. And that goes for not just which things we try to prevent, but also for the number of attempts that they make, as well as the duration that these attempts happen over. Okay. On top of that, we understand that people will accidentally type in the wrong information. That happens naturally. And it doesn't necessarily mean someone's trying to hack into your application. It just means somebody forgot the password. So we'll be able to manually release jailed user or IPs so that your actual users aren't stuck in limbo wondering when they're going to be able to get back into the application. Okay. Okay, so moving on to CDR cradle to grave improvements. I believe this came directly from a customer request who noticed that some of our cradle to grave CDRs weren't capturing quite all of the related calls that they expected. So currently the way that we do this is that we search for CDRs that are related to one another based on your configuration. There's a couple of different fields that we'll key off of to do that. And that's pretty much all you can do right now. You configure those things. When we're going through CDRs and report, we'll look up any related ones based on those fields. And that's pretty much the end of it. So the problem, that's worked really well for the most part, but recently we've seen from clients that there are cases where that doesn't quite provide the full picture, because there's some calls that are related to the related calls. So for example, you start with a CDR, you look up a related call to that CDR, and then there's more to that call, as far as call legs are concerned, if you go and query for calls that are related to that related call. So that's the part that we aren't doing right now, and we've identified a need for, or I should say you identify a need for, and we've agreed that this is something we need. The way we're going to do that is based on a configurable depth of exploration. So like I mentioned earlier, right now we're only doing what I would call one single pass or one single query to find the related calls. We're going to allow you to set up to 5 passes so that we can go deeper and deeper into a call and its legs, so that we can really make sure we're not missing anything there. That's going to help provide a complete cradle to grave picture for you guys, and I know that's going to really enhance the cradle to grave functionality that we offer. Moving on to the bottom left, we're going to add CCX widget call detail search set support. So right now, they have, or I should say, agent widgets have search sets, but it's really only to filter on what agents you want to include in your widget. Analogously, CSQs, they don't have a search set, but we allow you to select the CSQs that you want included in your widget. This is really good, but it's not quite enough. And that's what we've heard from people, that you don't necessarily want information about every single call. There's certain types of calls you're looking for, or there's certain type of issues on problematic calls that you're looking for. Maybe it's abandoned calls or calls that take a long time. queued up for a long time. These are things that you can do with our CCX reporting, but you can't really do with our widgets right now. And that's obvious. We understand that that's a problem. So we want to add this support so that we can get to feature parity with what we do with CUCM widgets and soon to be Cube widgets as will be released in 12.3. So this is going to help you get exactly what you want out of your widgets, and it can also improve widget efficiency. The reason it can do that is because now if you are looking for a specific type of call, you can make, we'll be searching on that, and the result will be fewer calls getting aggregated for the statistics, which will generally improve widget efficiency. So no longer will you have to do it for every single call. You'll be able to do it at a much more fine-tuned level. So we know that that's something that's been asked for. Again, just sticking to a common theme of things that have been asked for, moving on to widget threshold audible alerts for CCX. That's another big one that people have talked about. I don't remember exactly the version we introduced this in, but a while ago we introduced threshold alerting for CCX widgets. In this case, we show different color text or backgrounds based on thresholds that you've configured. This is really nice because it gives you some type of indication that there's a problem or something concerning about to happen within your call center. But the problem with it is it's easily missed. And unless you're staring at the wallboard, you're going to miss it. And that obviously is not ideal because you're not going to respond in time. You may miss it entirely. You might, the threshold might be breached and you're gone, or you're looking at some presentation or you're looking at some other document on your desk, and you can't be standing around staring at a screen or staring at a TV screen or a wallboard all day. Everyone has other things to do. So without something else, there's a chance that that threshold gets breached and you never notice it. So that's where audible alerts are going to come in. If you have a wallboard up on a screen or anywhere on a TV or on your monitor, and you have access, it has access to a speaker system, we're going to be able to play a sound when a threshold is breached on this wallboard. So this is going to really alert you quicker because you don't need to be looking at it. You don't need to see it. You're going to get an audible cue that, hey, something's going on. And then you'll be able to look up at the screen and see exactly what's going on. That's obviously going to improve your reaction time in responding to critical issues. So that's a big win for everybody, and we hope that everyone's excited for that. Okay, so moving on to the next slide, starting to get into the current initiatives that I mentioned earlier. This first one is called CDR data management. So you may remember in past slide decks and presentations that we've done, we've talked about CDR database archiving. That's pretty much what this is, or that's a part of this. It's been expanded a bit because of just everything that's needed to support automatic database archiving. It made sense to go ahead and sort of streamline our general data management and configuration. So that's why we've kind of renamed it to CDR data management. So with that in mind, I do want to say that automatic database archiving is the core enhancement around this initiative. So as part of this, we'll be introducing a couple of new concepts. You can see some of that in this UI example I have. If you look at the second row under the databases column, you see two icons, one that looks like a regular database and one that looks like an archive box. And what that's showing is the concept of a primary database and an active archive. So a primary database is pretty much what you have right now. It's the CDR database that you know and love. It's the one that we process to, that we query, that we purge from when you don't need some data. It's the only database at the moment that you can associate with the cluster. Okay, so below that is what we call an active archive, or what will be called an active archive when this is released. And what that is it's a secondary CDR database, which is going to be processed to simultaneously, so alongside your primary database. Now, it can be on the same database server, but I think ideally it's located somewhere else so that you can start to build a collection of archives on a separate server that can be maintained and provisioned separately from your primary database. So I think that's great for a lot of reasons. One of the biggest ones is the automatic scheduling aspect of it. So being able to associate multiple databases is a great thing, but it doesn't really do anything if you still have to go in and manually do this every so often. That can be clunky. It's sort of what we support now in an unofficial way, which I'll go over soon. But the idea with the automatic archiving is that you're going to be able to configure a schedule so that a new archive or a new active archive is provisioned and created at your convenience. So whether that's monthly, quarterly, yearly, or anything in between, you're going to be able to tell us when you want a new active archive to be written to, and the old active archive is going to become what is just a regular archive. So that's going to so that's actually a good transition point for the next slide. You can see this databases tab now, where we're looking at all of the CDR databases associated with a single cluster. So like I mentioned in the last slide, at the moment, this isn't really officially supported. We have some people out there who have come up with really creative workarounds by creating multiple clusters and pointing some to historical archive databases in their system while maintaining one that is what we would now refer to as a primary database. And that kind of works. I mean, it does work up to the point where you have multi-database support and you can do multi-cluster querying, but it's a little clunky and it's very difficult to maintain because now you have all these different clusters configured in our system, which really are pointing to the data for the same cluster. And it's just a little awkward to deal with, especially whenever there's a schema update or anything like that to our side of things. So what you can see here is more first-class support for multiple databases. And as I mentioned, the three big types that we have, right, going from top to bottom, you see primary, active archive, and archive. So we've kind of already gone over what a primary and an active archive database are. Again, these are things that we're processing to simultaneously. But an archive database is just a database that we're aware of. We're not really doing anything with it as far as insertion is concerned, but it's available for us to query. And what's interesting about that is it should result in much more efficient reporting for you and much better resource utilization when it comes to reporting. And the reason for that is a lot of people have large-scale databases right now that may contain multiple years of data. But most often people are reporting on things or querying on things, searching, I should say, on things for the last, let's say, month or two. The problem with a large database to that scale, depending on what you're searching for, the database engine might still search through every single row in that database, even though you're only looking for stuff from the past month or two. That's obviously going to cause a lot of problems, especially as your database grows, but that is part of what we're going to solve here. So just as an example of that, if you're searching, just looking at the available data that I have in the screenshot for something in the October to November 2020 range, we no longer have to query a single gigantic database that might require a table scan throughout years of data. We'll be able to go and find, okay, I see one database, in this case it's cluster 1 CDR3, that has information in that time frame, and we'll go and just search that specific database, which is much smaller than if this was a multi-year database. That's gonna be more efficient for your resources, and it's also going to have allow our reporting system to generate your report a lot quicker. So this is something we're really excited about, and we've been messaging it for a long time. Obviously, it's more than just archiving, although that is the biggest part of it. I would say alongside archiving, the multi-database support as a first-class citizen for a cluster is a really, really huge benefit to it. And just quickly, if you look at the top right of my screenshot there, you can see a button called Associate Existing Archive. So what that's going to do is going to allow you, those of you out there who may have already come up with some type of archiving solution that you do on your own, this is going to allow you to associate those archive databases with our system so that we can go in and look at whatever historical data you have based on your reports. And again, it's only going to query those databases if we need to. There's no reason to look at that data if you're not searching in that time frame, the time frame that makes sense for that database. So we hope everyone's really excited about this one. I know that we are. Okay, so moving on to Microsoft Teams call analytics. Obviously, this is a big one. I think we've hinted at it in the past. It's one of our first commitments outside of the Cisco world. And as you can see on my screenshot here, some of the challenges that people have with Microsoft Teams when it comes to call analytics is that it gives you very limited access to call history. And this is pretty common for a lot of collaboration providers. Many of you on this call have probably experienced this already with Cisco, which is why you're customers of ours. They just don't give you that much information. They only hold on to so much, and everything else, as far as reporting and analytics are concerned, are just fairly lacking. Again, just looking at the next bullet under challenges, there's no report customization or scheduling. That's, again, a common theme. And because of these two things, it's very difficult to understand the overall voice picture. I got this straight. If you look at my quote on the right, I got this straight out of the documentation where it says the emphasis that they have on their analytics is you can do per user call analytics. And that's basically it. They do give some amount of overview for teams and for different rooms and things like that. But it's very limited. The most analytics they support is per user base. And even that, you have a hard time getting more than 30 days call history. And that's where this question from Amelia comes in. There's someone, and this was common, you could see it was liked, or people said I have the same question 67 times in the last year. People are looking for their history and they can't find it. They can get up to 30 days of call history out of Microsoft Teams, but that's it. If you want more, you can request additional history and they'll give you up to 90 days worth. But again, many of you out there, that's not enough. You need to get back throughout the whole year, multiple years ago. For some of you, especially if you're in the healthcare or law space, you might have to go back several years. And that's true for a lot of people, even if you're not in those types of domains. So similar to the call history being limited, again, most of the reports are also top out at 30 days of history. So even if they do have a report that seems interesting to you, you might only be able to get back 30 days. And I don't believe you can ask for additional history for that. So that's something that you're really limited to. And again, just no configuration, there's no scheduling. It's just very limited. It gives you something, but it's not quite enough. So what we want to do is we want to provide to you the same type of CDR collection and persistence that we offer for Cisco platforms. We want to collect this data and store it and give you access to unlimited call history, the same customizable reports and schedules that you have now through Cisco. We want to do that through Microsoft Teams. And on top of that, we want to start to dive into cross-platform analytics. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of common properties of a call, right? That not everything is proprietary, not everything is vendor specific. There's always some things about a call that are the same, no matter who the vendor is, right? There's where did the call come from and where did it go? When did it start? When did it end? How long did the call last? Diagnostic information. Things like this are common to every call. And so there's no reason that we can't provide a common model for call analytics across all of your different platforms. Again, I already hinted at Zoom. We're talking about Microsoft Teams now. We have Cisco on lock. So this is just adding to that, the vendor-specific capabilities that we already have and we're going to deliver. So I do want to emphasize that we're not moving away from providing detailed reporting for individual vendors. Our flexible and detailed reports for Cisco are going to still be there. We're going to have the same type of thing for Microsoft Teams. But on top of that, we want to be able to offer analytics that span both platforms when it makes sense, so that you can get, again, an overall voice picture, not just what's happening on the Cisco side or what's happening on my Microsoft Teams side, but what's happening overall in my voice network. Okay, so obviously that's something we're super excited about, and I know that a lot of you are too. We've heard about it for a long time, and something that we've teased at, but we're really excited to be moving on it in actuality here. So moving on to the next feature enhancements on the next slide here. Again, I want to mention these are things that some will be delivered within the next 12 months, but some of these will be later in 2022 and into 2023. And we know that not everybody has a hybrid environment. So, there's a large focus here on multiple vendors. There's some other major initiatives. Obviously, the archiving is a huge one, and we'll get into a couple more. But sometimes just enhancements to existing features are more interesting to some of you out there, and so we don't want to shortchange you. So some of these next ones that we're talking about are, again, going from starting the top left with dashboard sharing improvements. We know that there's a need out there right now for us to provide easier use of our dashboards. At the moment, I know only admins can share out their dashboards, but the reality is it's not only admins who create really captivating dashboards. There are some non-power users or non-admins out there who really make some awesome dashboards, and they can't share them out with anybody. And that's troublesome for a couple of reasons, because obviously, one, they can't share them out. That would be easy. But also, we don't even have the ability to copy the entire dashboard. So if you're somebody who wanted to take that dashboard and just copy it over to your own ownership so you could tweak it and use it as well, you can't do that either. So the process to getting to that point is obviously very cumbersome. So we want to be able to add support for non-admins to share their own dashboards, but also the ability to copy entire dashboards, so that if you don't want to just share it and you want to take ownership of a very similar one, you'll be able to do that as well. Moving on to the top right, multiple DID block searching and reporting. So this is another one that we've heard from you guys. And again, I'm sticking with that common theme of wanting to really satisfy our customers and listen to your feedback. We've heard you. We understand that you're currently limited to searching a single block. And for those of you out there who have many sites or many blocks for a single site, that's very time consuming to find what you're looking for by having to search just a single block over and over again, or a different block just serially like that. That's not a fun thing to go through. So what we want to do is allow you to run comprehensive reports on all of your sites and all of your blocks all at once. So that's going to make it a lot easier for you to find anything that you want in your DID system, and give you really complete visibility of your DID setup in your enterprise. Moving on to the bottom left, CDR widget history drill down. This is another one that's been requested a lot. And again, these things are a little bit further out than some of the stuff that we've talked about already, but it is on our horizon, and it's something that we're in the process of talking about and designing right now. Many of these things are, even if they're not actively being worked on. I want to emphasize that just because it's listed as next, and I'm talking late 2022 and 2023, it doesn't mean we're not taking action now. It just means that the action we're taking is more early phases. So CDR widget history drill down, what are we talking about here? Sometimes when you're looking at a widget, you want to see the raw call details that make up the aggregate statistics, right? Our widgets right now are really good at aggregating data. They show charts and graphs, they show summary statistics, and all that stuff is really useful. But what happens when you're looking at some metric that we have and you want to see what comprises it? Well, a lot of people go onto our call history module and they'll recreate the search set and kind of dig into it that way. And that works, but it's time consuming and obviously not ideal. You have to navigate away. You have to maybe you'll pull up a separate tab so you can follow what's going on in the original search set. And it's just not really a great user experience. So what we want to allow you to do is to be able to click into a particular statistic or a particular graph or a slice of data and be able to see the history that makes it up right there. So if you want to see the raw details that make up an aggregate statistic, you'll be able to get to that information a lot quicker. So that's going to give you a better understanding of the most important metrics to your enterprise. Moving on to call analytics report templating. I can't remember if this is stemmed directly from user requests, but it's one that we've heard sort of indirectly. What we've heard in general is that our reporting tool can be difficult to use in terms of initial setup. Part of the reason for that is really that we offer a lot of flexibility with our reporting tools, which I think is great because there's so many different things you can do with them. I feel like even myself, I'm learning something new that our CDR reporting or our CCX reporting is capable of doing that I wasn't even aware of previously. And I think that's common for people here, and it's probably common for a lot of you out there when one of our SEs gets on the phone with you and shows you how something works. So that's really awesome that there's so much power behind those reporting tools. But the trade-off of that is it comes to the complex configuration user interface. So how can we address that? Well, that's where templating comes in. So the idea behind this is that you'll be able to have report templates that you can build from. So, maybe that's something that we've set up and you've imported, or maybe that's something you already have set up and you want to use as a template going forward for other users. That's what you're going to be able to do. You're going to be able to choose from an existing template and only fill in the critical details that you need. Maybe just search set changes, whereas all of the grouping and all the output settings are already configured. So you don't have to touch that. You only have to worry about what you're looking for in terms of searching. So that's going to allow you to build reports more efficiently. And it's also going to reduce the training efforts in your organization to use our product more efficiently and with less setup time. So we hope you're excited for that. I know we are. And obviously, as we get closer to delivery of these things, we'll have more interesting slides. I know Dan's slide deck had a lot more to do with UI pieces that already exist and cool screenshots. You guys just have to kind of listen to me describe these features, but as we get closer, we'll make sure to give as much information as we possibly can. Moving on to some of our next initiatives. So CCX background alerting. This was one that it's sort of setting the stage for background alerting in general, but obviously with the focus on what we can do for CCX first, since that is that's the request that we've heard the most often, is that it kind of ties into thresholding, which I already touched on with the audible alerts that we're going to be adding as a feature enhancement. But this is a much more intense way of doing alerting, right? So instead of having something pulled up on a screen in any capacity, this is going to allow you to report on things in the background. You're going to be able to configure thresholds just like you can on widgets now, but instead of running live, you're going to be able to configure them to run on a certain pace. And anytime a threshold is breached when on the scheduled on the scheduled job that you have configured, we're going to be able to alert you via chat or email about that happening. So just a couple of examples. Let's say you want to get alerted when there's 0 agents logged in or available to your enterprise. You want to get alerted when there's a high number of calls waiting at a certain point in time. Or maybe you want to get alerted when there's a high number of abandoned calls within some configured time frame, maybe within the last hour, for example. These are all things you'll be able to do. And again, you'll be able to send these alerts via chat or email. So you might use email for lower priority breaches that don't need immediate action, whereas you might use chat for high priority breaches where you need to take some action immediately. Again, going back to my example, 0 agents logged in or available is obviously a pretty big problem for your call center. So you're going to want to be able to take immediate action on that. And this is what's going to allow you to do that without having to worry about having your wallboard up and maybe listening for an audible alert or seeing an orange color show up on the screen. So in general, this is going to just improve your enterprise's efficiency and allow you to respond quicker to major issues, which means you'll be able to resolve these issues quicker as well. That's good for business and that's good for your users. So I know that that's something that everyone wants to do to stay successful. So let's see, moving on to distributed services. This one is a little bit more difficult to talk about just because it's more of a technical improvement we want to make on our end. It's not something that you will see necessarily in our user interface very easily. It won't be as obvious, but I want to talk about it briefly because we think it's important for a lot of organizations out there. So quickly, I want to talk about right now what we have is a monolithic architecture. And what that means basically, again, I have some very simplified drawings here, whereas the reality is a lot more complicated, but I want to keep this simple. The idea behind a monolith is that it's just every piece of an application is contained together. So you can see I'm just focusing on UI, report generation, and data processing. All those things come when you install Variphy, right? You get CDR processing, you get CDR reporting, you get our user interface, soon to be Cube for those things as well, and beyond as we continue to grow. But the problem is that it's very difficult to scale an architecture like this, and it also comes with some reliability concerns. So what do I really mean by that? Well, some of you have probably run into this already, but at the moment with an architecture like this, better performance usually means just scaling up the processing power or the memory of the entire application. And that can be really costly. And it also isn't necessarily efficient because not everything necessarily needs more horsepower. Maybe you're a very heavy user of reports. And so really just the reporting piece could use that horsepower, but maybe you don't process that much data and you don't use the UI super heavily. You don't really need the other pieces to get that horsepower. You only need one of them. So right now that's not possible. And likewise, if you're someone who processes a heavy amount of data, but maybe doesn't do a ton of reporting, you want to be able to have more horsepower dedicated to report for data processing. And again, that's not possible to do in that fine-tuned of a way. So what we have out there with some of our really large enterprises is I have this question mark, scaling. Like, what is this? This is not real scaling. It works, but it's really just duplicating our monolithic application across multiple regions and then dedicating these applications to just doing one thing, right? Like you might have an application that's dedicated for our UI, one that's dedicated for report generation, and one that's dedicated for data processing. But at the end of the day, each one of those installations has the capability of doing those other things. And it's just adding a lot of bloat to include it all in that way. So we don't, that's just, it just doesn't make sense to scale in that way. And that's what we're doing right now. Again, it works, but it's not ideal and it's not efficient. On top of that, I want to talk real quickly about reliability concerns with it. So some of you may have run into this, hopefully not too often, but sometimes our application might get over provisioned, or we might not have the correct estimate for how many resources we're going to need mostly in terms of memory, but also in terms of CPU. And so what happens when, for example, the report generator, which is probably most often the most resource intensive service that we have, what happens when that uses too much memory or CPU? Well, with this architecture, it causes everything to either slow down or, in a worst case scenario, even crash. It's not too hard to resolve it, but it's still not good that it happens at all, because really there's no need for the report generation process or service to impede data processing or even UI navigation. Currently, it's tied together, again, just based on the existence of a monolithic application, but it just doesn't need to be that way. You should be able to have your report generation piece, have an issue with resources and kind of fail independently of the other services. And so moving on to my next slide here, that is where distributed services really comes in. So again, I have these diagrams very, very low detail and rudimentary. I don't want to get into all the technical aspects of distributed services, because I know that's not necessarily what a lot of you are interested in. You want to know, how does this really help me? And so how this helps you as your enterprise is it's going to give you better performance, more efficient resource utilization, and improved application reliability. Again, I kind of touched on this on the last page about how it's not doing it now. So really, this is just the answer to some of those concerns, right? So we talked about fine-tuning pieces which need additional horsepower. So again, maybe that's data processing, maybe that's report generation. You can see on the image on the right, there's a concept of multiple data processors or multiple report generators, which are completely independent of one another. And they're also completely independent of the UI. This means that you'll be able to fine-tune things for your organization and however you need them. So if you need more processing power, you'll have options. Not only could you increase resources for your existing data processors, you could also consider adding more of them. So depending on what you have in terms of hardware and resources available, that might be more cost effective for you, whichever one. It might be increasing it, or it might be adding new ones. Just depends on your organization and where you're at. Same thing for reporting power. If you need more reporting power because you're running a ton of reports and you want to run them simultaneously, you can, in a distributed architecture, increase the resources for just the report generation pieces, or add more of them, which is just two different types of scaling. One is vertical, one's horizontal. Whereas right now with our monolithic application, we don't really have a concept of horizontal scaling. So again, getting into the reliability aspect of that, if there's an issue with report generation or data processing because they're using too much resources and they go down, it might only take out one independent service and not the whole application. So we know that's obviously just going to give you a lot more reliability because your whole application will get taken down by one individual component. All right, and moving on to Zoom call analytics. Again, this slide is going to look really similar to the one I presented about Microsoft Teams, and that's not by accident. That's because the challenges and the solutions that we have in mind for these two products are really similar. All right, the challenges with any of you using a Zoom platform are similar to those using Microsoft Teams, where you have limited access to call history and you don't really have report customization or scheduling. So it's difficult to get your overall voice picture. It's difficult to get that on a scheduled basis, or impossible, but even on an ad hoc basis if you go and look for it yourself. I have a quote from their documentation talking about the metrics that only cover a 1 month time period. The image on the bottom left shows that same type of thing. You can't go beyond a duration of 1 month. It lets you go a little further back in history, I believe, than Microsoft Teams does, but 1 month of data is not always enough. Sometimes you need a quarter, sometimes you need half a year, sometimes you need a whole year. And those are the things that we're going to be able to do, again, by just giving you that full feature parity that we have with our Cisco products now. Unlimited call history, unlimited collection and persistence, our customizable reports and schedules. And again, just diving quickly back into cross-platform analytics. I don't need to go too in depth just because we've already talked about this with Microsoft Teams, but it's the same concept. If you're running a hybrid environment and you have maybe just Cisco and Zoom, maybe just Cisco and Microsoft Teams, or some other combination of those three things, we want to be able to tap into all of them individually at a really deep level, but also all of them at a high level in a common model sort of way, so that you can see your voice activity across all of your platforms. So again, these are things that we're talking about further down the line, more into late 2022 and into 2023. But they're definitely at the forefront of our mind as well. So transitioning into our last slide, we're going back to Slido here, where we want to get you involved. So the idea behind this one is we want to gauge your interest in some of our possible future initiatives. I've already talked about things we're working on now, and I've already talked about things we're going to be working on at a high level in the intermediate term future. But what about beyond that? Again, a common theme throughout this entire presentation has been customer feedback. And so this is your chance to tell us which things you would like us to invest in from a major initiative perspective. So again, similar to our previous poll, if you scan the QR code in the top left corner of the slide, you'll be able to rank these 6 options that we have. We already see some answers coming in, which is great. So just looking quickly at some of these options, we got WebEx calling analytics and WebEx chat analytics. So if you want us to get more into Cisco items in terms of analytics, those are probably some of your best bets. WebEx calling analytics would sort of tie into what we've already talked about Microsoft Teams and Zoom. It's just another platform which isn't quite the same as what we offer now with CUCM CDR and Cube CDR. It's a little bit different. But it's still a call analytics platform that we can hook into our existing call analytics in a common model. WebEx chat analytics, interesting, is up there at the top I see right now. IMP and presence Jabber chat analytics is on there as well. So these are things we've probably talked about in the past or we've had out in different surveys. Obviously, it's a little different. We don't have any sort of chat analytics right now, right? We only do voice. That's probably not going to be forever, especially depending on customer need and desire. Why not break out of just voice analytics and get more into true full collaboration analytics? That's the kind of stuff that getting into chat will do. So both WebEx chat and IMP and Jabber chat would address those. Some of the other things you see on there, change management major update. That's kind of vague, and that's by design, just because there's so much we can do with change management. We know there's a lot of you out there who are heavy users of our change management features, and we want to get a sense for who's really interested in us investing a lot of resources into really, I don't want to say doing an overhaul, but just doing some major feature enhancements or initiatives around change management. And last but not least, there's perfmon analytics and monitoring and CCE analytics. So quickly on perfmon, I think we've talked about that in the past. That is more of a way for us to tap into a lot of raw information, raw metrics about what's going on in your UC environment. We'll be able to, the idea behind that will be mostly on alerting, but also on reporting analytics, historical information that we get from it. Or I should say we store from it, because it doesn't give you historical information. But if we're constantly pulling it, we can store that information for you and then perform analytics on it. And CCE looks like it's getting ranked towards the bottom there, but it is obviously just the larger scale version of CCX, right? Instead of Contact Center Express, we're talking about Contact Center Enterprise. Many of you out there may not have it, but some of you do. And so perhaps that's part of why it's lower on the ranking, just not as commonly used, but it's something we've talked about and thrown around here. So we wanted to put it out there to see who would have interest in it. So looks like we've got 15 or so responses. 16 now. Looks like both WebEx calling and chat are at the top, so that's cool to see. Obviously, this slide, I believe, will stay active even after we move on here. So if you haven't gotten a chance to answer, you're still ranking them or whatever, feel free to keep doing that. But in the meantime, that's really all I've had. So appreciate you all taking the time to listen. And I want to hand it off to Prize Patrol now for some more awesome prizes.
All right. Thank you, Dan and Derek. As you can see, we have a lot of exciting things coming up at Verify. One of those things, though, that they didn't mention is a classic round of Flip Cup. So, if you haven't played, if you haven't played in a while, here's the rules. They're pretty simple. So, Taylor and I have 5 cups. This one is just an extra one for, I guess, tutorial purposes. So, in each of these cups, we have our beverage of choice. Mine is hard seltzer.
Same.
And we will line them up, drink what's in the cup, place it down just over the table edge, and try to flip it upside down, like so. So, yeah. What
But we
beverage are
do-
you... Oh, sorry.
No, I have seltzer as well, but we do have a little twist here. So one of these 5 cups will have a shot of tequila. If anyone at home has alcohol nearby, feel free to join in and drink with us. I may have taken a shot before this as well. Linnea, let's pour the drinks, and then we'll shuffle the cups with our eyes closed. So let's pour the shot. Let's see. Oh, God. Oh, that's a big one. Okay. Oh, no. Okay. Closing eyes.
Oh, yes. To shuffle them up.
Shuffle.
Oh, I hope I don't
spill.
anything.
Yeah, same. Okay. Shuffle. Am I spilling? Okay, no.
Bruh.
Okay. 5.
Oh, wait. I need to line mine up.
4. Oh, no, I was going to keep shuffling for 3.
Oh, okay.
2.
I'm not looking.
1. Okay. Now I'm going to line them up. Oh, boy.
So my seltzer, just real quick, is organic.
Oh, look at you.
Citrus Flip is the flavor. It's not White Claw, but, it'll do.
I'm basic. I have White Claw.
Nice.
Whatever. Gonna go down the hatch anyways. All right, everybody.
Okay.
I'm
Are we
trying to
ready?
sniff out the tequila, but I have no idea. Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Set. Go. Ooh. Ooh.
Oh, come on.
Bruh.
I haven't gotten the tequila yet. It's coming.
Oh, no.
Bruh.
Yes.
That was the tequila. Woo!
Bruh.
Woo! Done.
You're done.
I have tears in my eyes. That was a really big shot. Yes. I win.
You won.
How many do you have left?
1.
Do it.
Bruh.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Nice job.
All right. Ooh, I'm not
Okay.
in college anymore.
No, that hurt a little bit, honestly.
It's a lot harder to chug things
Sunglasses on, guys. Sunglasses
in my
on.
old age. Yes, that is what $120,000 in college tuition gets you. Yeah. It's a place for learning, and that's one of the things I learned there. So
Bruh.
It's a little fuzzy. I'm not gonna lie. College is a little bit blurry, but it's fine.
I was so confident. I was like, I'm gonna win this one because I've been practicing. But, I guess beer goes down a lot faster than seltzer. So, lesson learned. Another lesson learned.
Made a mess.
All right. So, now that that's over, we've got some prizes for y'all. This round, we have 2 more $50 Amazon gift cards, as well as an Arlo security camera. So, let's see who the winners are. Just make it. Sorry.
All
right.
good.
Oh, the hard seltzer's getting to me.
Bruh.
All right, awesome. So, here we go. The first Amazon gift card winner is Bobby French. Woo! Woo! Where's my little not noisemaker?
And the second Amazon gift card goes to Justin Hodson. Woo!
All right.
I'll be so annoyed. I don't care.
And the super cool, awesome, fancy Arlo security cameras. The winner for that is Joe Limon. Yeah!
Congrats, Joe!
Congrats, Joe! All right. Sorry.
Bruh.
Cool. So, congratulations again to all the winners. Once again, those winners are Bobby French with the first Amazon gift card, Justin Hodson with the second Amazon gift card, and Joe Limon with the Arlo security cameras.
Everybody. Next up, we're going to hand this over to Dan and Vic for a deep dive into our latest and greatest feature, Cube reporting.
Woo!
Hello, everybody, and thank you guys for joining us today. What an awesome day it is out for a block party. I am joined here with my buddy Dan. Dan, how's it going today, bud?
Doing pretty good. I'm excited for this session, buddy.
Absolutely, man. An awesome session you guys did on what we've rolled out and what's new to come. Great stuff and a lot of development ahead of us and a lot of development behind us. So awesome job and strong kudos to our development team on being able to hit our targets and our goals. Speaking about targets and goals, one of the things that we wanted to get out is our cube reporting. This has been a big push for us, and I think it really kind of complements the CDR analytics that we have. One of the things that we heard a lot from our customers was, being able to track data at the call manager was great, and the reporting is great, and the cradle to grave analytics are phenomenal. Being able to build dashboards and see how those calls are flowing through the call manager. But one of the things that they noticed was there was a bit of a hole. As calls are going through the cube, a lot of them are hitting to those call managers. A lot of them are going to different clusters, but those cubes can do different things. They don't have to route calls to the clusters. So one of the big digs that we had today was, let's go ahead and dig into some cube analytics. And this slide here is just a very simple diagram of a general cube. And this is actually a pretty simple diagram compared to some of the environments we've seen with our current beta testers. Where, we've got a cube sitting in the middle, we've got PSTNs connected to it, we've got MS Teams networks, we've got clusters, we've got UCCE networks, we've got different rollovers from both PSTNs and PRIs and SIP gateways. So we want to be able to give visibility into all of those calls, and we couldn't do that just collecting at the Chicago cluster here. So what we've done is we've introduced our cube reporting, and thank you for all of our beta testers and EFT testers out there. We've had a lot of great feedback, and some of the features that we're going to go ahead and demonstrate today are because of that feedback. So Dan, let's go ahead and enough looking at some diagrams here. It's time to get our cube on, buddy. So what I'm looking at here is just a very general dashboard. In the interest of time, I'm not going to focus too much on dashboard because, as you guys know, you're familiar with Variphy, a lot of what we can do in our reporting can also be built into a dashboard. So I'm going to jump right over to our Cube Analytics, and we're going to take a look at some of the values that we have available to us in Cube. So I'm going to do a very simple search. Anybody that's worked with me knows, the simplest way to bring back everything is to throw an X in there and say starts with. So I'm just going to bring back all the calls that we have in there in our Cube environment for today, and we're going to look just at the current day. And the first thing we see is we see a lot of fields, Dan. I mean, there is a ton of information to be able to pull back into this cube environment, and we don't have nearly enough time to cover all of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pass the ball over to you, and we're going to kind of break down some of what we consider are some of the top 10 fields to report for Cube Analytics and what we see our customers and our EFTs and our beta testers using most out of their Cube data. So Dan, why don't you go ahead and take it away, man?
Excellent. Yeah, thanks, Vic. And you're exactly correct, right? With all the customers that we've worked with, especially in our beta program, we've identified things, like we've learned things through seeing this data as well. And so we've identified the top 10 or so fields that we feel anyone running this Cube Call Analytics just needs to know about. It'll make the experience and the use of the system a lot more convenient for them. So like what I like to do is to break everything down by use case scenario. In certain circumstances, you might want to see some set of data, and in another circumstance, you might want to see another set of data. So the first set use case that I'm going to go with is our basic call detail information. That's the information that you would expect any sort of call platform to have. And so real quick here, as we stated before, right, Cube Data offers 130 or so fields. We're just parsing that and making a lot more sense of it. But what are these fields that every search criteria should have in it? And the first thing that we're going to talk about is the caller ID and the DNIS information. So that's going to be labeled as CLID and DNIS. Now, what you'll notice about Cube Data is it's vastly different from a call manager data set in which UCM will pretty much indicate an internal extension number and a device used. But from Cube's perspective, it's a little bit different, right? Cube doesn't know about any internal, like let's say 4 or 5 digit number ranges. Everything is 11 digit to Cube, and you'll see some notification of E164 or how digits are being presented by the carrier. With caller ID and DNIS, you might question, well, who's calling into my network versus who's calling out? And that goes into the next kind of use case, is understanding the flow of call. Cube Data is vastly different in another way, that it doesn't actually log call records. It is actually logging events. So, listing all the events that transpire through a single call sequence. And so to our left here, we have a new indicator by our plus symbol, which is essentially a dropdown. And that dropdown is telling me that there's 2 events that took place from Cube's perspective. And so to understand the flow of a call, it really takes an understanding of the timestamps and these H323 comp IDs and H323 call origins. So I'm just going to break this down a little bit here so everyone can make a little bit sense of all this information. Obviously, the H323 setup time and connect time, very critical to understand when the call is happening. Setup time is when is the call hitting the network, basically. And then you'll see a pretty consistent pattern where every event record within the sequence will retain that setup time. So utilizing that more than just understanding the start of a sequence is pretty pointless. So that tells us when the sequence started. Then we have our H323 connect and disconnect time. Obviously, the differences of those are our duration of the call. And really understanding the direction of the call. Is it an inbound or outbound call? Comes to understanding when we start looking at the H323 comp ID and H323 call origin. Much like our UCM CDR call analytics, right? We have that cradle to grave concept in which we're looking at a series of primary identifiers supplied by Cisco. Cube makes that process a little bit easier for us. They are giving us that H323 comp ID, which is that unique identifier, and that's what we use to create these sequences. Okay, so a sequence of event records. And next is the H323 call origin. This is the direction or how Cube is seeing that call from its own perspective. So if, going back to your image, Vic, right, you had Cube right in the middle, and then you had PSTN connections and networks all branching off of Cube. Well, from Cube's perspective, it is typically answering a request first. And so the rule of thumb here is your answer leg will always be the first thing that takes place. So that's your leg number 1, basically, event log number 1. Cube is answering a request from some outside party or some internal party. And that's going to be identified by the remote media address. The remote media address really is the only participant-based information that allows you to determine, hey, is this an inside request or an outside request from the PSTN world coming in? So Vic, going up to your image, right, you had, I think you had your IP subnets listed and everything. What is your 14.113 address, Vic?
So 14.113, that would be my Chicago cluster. Go Bears.
Excellent. Excellent. Very good to know here. So this is telling me that I'm getting a request, an answer request. Cube is getting the answer request from your internal Chicago cluster. And then what does Cube do? It relays that call to its destination. And so in every single call sequence, you're going to have at least two events, the answer and the originate. And so that second part of that sequence is the originate event. Cube is actually sending that call off to its destination, which is my 22.194 network. And from your diagram, I do know that is your PSTN.
Got it.
Is that your, yep. So like those two together really give you a good indication of the flow and the direction of the call. There's really nothing outside of those that tell you who is involved, right? Cube data will not have any person-based information or even local device-based information. It's just network-based information. So from what subnets are these requests coming from? Okay. Next is the understanding of what features are invoked in a call, right? We talked about Cube data being very feature centric and what is happening as an event. And so when we scroll over to the right here on your screen, Vic, we're seeing voice feature, and there are some other VSAs that go a long way with this, but this basically tells us what type of call is being logged here. And this is a basic two-way call, okay? The simplest you could get in Cube-based data is a two-way call. You're gonna get two records. But as you start introducing additional call features, let's say a hold and a resume or a blind transfer or a consultative transfer, this sequence is bound to get bigger. And the more that takes place, the longer that sequence gets. So every feature that is invoked, you're going to see an extra record kind of tacked into the sequence here, Vic. So understanding that voice feature is pretty critical in understanding the flow of the call. It is, I'll kind of say it's not an all be all, and to tell us that this whole thing was a two-way call, the structure of the data will get longer and more complicated as you have a two-way call and a call forward all, let's say, as an example. And I think we'll have some examples of that maybe a little bit later. The last kind of use case that I like to go about is troubleshooting based information. As a network admin, right, I need to field requests about possible one-way audio or degraded calls or things like that. So what fields can I use to troubleshoot requests? And so much like call manager, right, there's some similar information. There's that disconnect cause code information in what Cube actually calls disconnect text. So let me see if we have disconnect text in here. There it is. So normal call clearing. And this is very consistent. It's a basic ISDN disconnect cause code. That's going to be somewhat similar to what you expect in call manager's point of view. But this also is available in Cube data. You can definitely search by this. You can show the details based off of this. But using this in conjunction with some of these other Cube fields becomes beneficial. Things you won't see in call manager based CDR. Things like the internal or SIP internal air code. Right? If a event was failed, it's going to be failed with an internal air code. And that's a string of numbers that we'll show here maybe later. Basically, it's almost like an IP address, a bunch of numbers separated by dots. Basically, you got to take that string of digits and Google that, and that's going to tell you the reason in which a call failed. And like I said before, this is all event-based. So just because it has an internal error code doesn't mean it was a complete failure. Cube will, in some circumstances, try to reconnect that call. So one event of a sequence might be failed, but then the very next event you see, it may succeed, right? You may see a timeout, SIP internal error code by the PSTN carrier, timed out and doesn't get an acknowledgement response back to the Cube. Well, that's okay. Cube's going to try again and proceed on with the call. And you're going to see everything transpire within a call sequence. And my personal favorite here, and I honestly, had no idea what peer ID actually represented, but I soon learned with our helpful EFT customers, right? This is representative of your dial peer IDs within Cube. So very easily I could see if I do have an internal error code, first thing I'm looking at is my dial peer ID, right? I want to note and see if something is possibly set up incorrectly within Cube as far as dial peers go. Is it going to the wrong destination or wrong remote media address? Is it configured with the wrong codec? Maybe my carrier is expecting a different codec payload or something like that, right? That's the first step I'm looking at. So it's a bunch of hints to kind of go out and troubleshoot call. We're not explicitly telling you why the call failed and what happened, but we're giving you, or Cube gives you enough information to go troubleshoot that call, and we could obviously report on these failed calls. And so, Vic, I think we're gonna next kind of go into and show some reports, some additional capabilities here. So if you want to take it from there, Vic.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and let's use some of the fields that you talked about. One of the things that I always like to key off of, and I think is a great example, and even this first call is a great example, finding out how my calls are flowing through my cube. We now know that, the answer leg here is not necessarily got answered by a person. That means the cube is answering that call. It is picking up that event. And then we also know that originate means that is kind of the outgoing event. And Dan, as you had said, we're kind of lucky with the data that we're looking at right here. You're seeing, kind of a one-to-one relationship to answer to originate. But I've seen like 30 different events take place for single calls, depending on how those calls are routing. So let's take a quick peek. Let's say, for example, hypothetically speaking, we want to take a look at all of the total number of calls coming in from my PSTN. As you said before, my PSTN is remote media address 22. So I know my PSTN, and maybe this is for my Verizon network, maybe this is for my AT&T network. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to filter off that very simply. I'm going to say, let's say starts with 22. Now I've isolated all of the calls from and to my PSTN because I'm not filtering off of my H323 origin yet. So essentially what I'm doing is bringing back all calls. Now, very easily, if I wanted to get a capacity utilization report for my PSTN, I could come down, turn on capacity utilization, and show some charts on capacity utilization for all of my PSTN. It's that simple to see all those calls to or from the PSTN. But what we talked about was using some of the other fields. Maybe I want to isolate all the calls coming into my PSTN. In other words, how many came from this part of the network? Be it your PSTN, be it maybe your Chicago network, you can actually just build those based off remote media address and using that H323 origin. So what I'm going to do here is just add that answer value. And I'm going to make sure I check mark match all search options because this is going to go ahead and say anything that I bring back has to start with 22 from a remote media address, but also has to be an answer record. And again, answer record means it is being answered by the cube. So now I'm isolating all of the calls that got answered by my cube coming off of my PSTN, and it's that simple. So again, there are a ton of fields to be able to report off of here, but it is as simple as that, is identifying some of those media addresses. And if maybe media addresses or IP addresses aren't necessarily your thing, you may be able to use peer IDs. Certain peer IDs are going to control how your calls are routing. So rather than focusing in on maybe the remote media address of 22, I could focus in on a peer address or a peer ID of 100 to isolate all those calls. So you've got a lot of options there. Now, the same way I isolated all those inbound calls, I could do the same thing for outbound calls just by focusing in on that originate record. Now, rather than looking at all the calls that came in from that PSTN, I'm going to see how many calls went out to the PSTN. And what you're going to see here, and you'll notice right off of the bat, is in my search, I'm searching 22. But if we look at the records here, I'm seeing a lot of 14s in here. So why am I seeing 14s? Because Verify is showing you the entire event that took place. Now, if you remember, I'm searching originate events 22. In other words, all the ones that went out my PSTN in this particular case. So I could see my originate remote media address is 14.113, and as we said, that's my call manager cluster. So being able to search those remote media addresses, understanding some of the IP addresses that go along with your network, but as well as those H323 origins of answer or originate are going to really allow you to build those dashboards that are going to help you isolate how many calls are rolling over to different circuits, or how many calls are going out to my MS Teams network, because your MS Teams network is also going to have its IP address ranges, or it's going to have its peer addresses that you can also use. So one last thing before we go here is you mentioned a lot of the error message and the error codes, and I think that's an important part of Cube reporting, because a lot of these calls, if they don't make it to your call manager, if they don't make it to your MS Teams network, whether you're using some type of MS Teams reporting or call manager reporting, you don't ever see that call took place. So let's go ahead and use your example here, and let's dig in onto some of those internal error codes.
Okay.
So again, keeping it as simple as possible, I'm just going to go ahead and start with X. And this is going to basically bring me back every call that has an internal error code. Now you'll notice, looking right off the bat, some of these we don't see that internal error code. But like I said, that's okay because Variphy is reporting the entire event. Just because that error didn't happen on the answer event doesn't mean it didn't happen on the originate event or the outgoing event. And from there, you'll be able to report your error codes. You can go ahead and summarize or group based off of those peer IDs and get a nice depiction of maybe where your calls are failing, why they're failing, is it potentially a certain codec that you may be having an issue with, and give you a good depiction and a good way to be able to troubleshoot those calls, how they're flowing through your network, and if they're failing, are there certain peer IDs that are causing those failures? So, with that, guys, I want to thank everybody for attending. This is just kind of a taste of what we're going to be able to do with Cube. There's a lot more that we can do. So make sure you keep an eye out for our webinars, for any type of Cube reporting. We're learning a lot from our beta customers. And once we go GA in a couple of weeks, we're going to be able to learn a lot more and be able to provide a lot more meaningful reports for everybody. So, Dan, any closing comments for us today?
No, just that, there's a lot more data that we could have obviously sifted through. We are running a little bit short on time here. But yeah, rest assured, we will follow up with any of the questions. I see questions coming in. We're going to follow up with those at the end of our session, the QA session at the end of our event.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Now we're going to go ahead and have a little bit more fun. We're going to pass the ball back to Linnea and Taylor. If you guys are still standing, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Dan and Vic. Super exciting stuff. And can't wait for some more of that with the Q&A afterwards. I've got my assistant Gary here.
Love Gary. All right, everybody. Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're good. He decided he didn't want to help anymore. So. Typical.
All right, everybody. We got another fun game for you guys. I'm going to pause on the drinking for now. But this time, we want you guys to be involved in the chat. Now, I see the chat has been going off already. You guys are hilarious. We're going to need you to chat a little bit more during this round, so please pay close attention. We are going to play Would You Rather. So we're going to ask you guys some interesting questions, but we'll also give our answers too, so don't worry. So please type your answers in the chat so we know you're playing along with us. Don't be shy. Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
First question, everybody, and Linnea. Would you rather always say what you're thinking or never be able to speak again?
That's kind of a tough one, but I love talking. So I think I would rather always say what's on my mind, even if it ended up being, causing a little bit of trouble.
I think never again, honestly.
Always say bruh.
Wait, we've got a lot of chats. Someone's saying, always say what I'm thinking, always say what I'm thinking, never be able to speak, never speak again.
Edgar says he would never be able to speak again. So we're going to hold you to that, Edgar.
Someone said, I love talking too. Love that for you. That's a trick question. Always say. We are hearing multiple. I get fired, Edgar. That's how I feel. My mind has a mind of its own. So sometimes I have to tell my mind to just shut up. So, I'm just going to never speak again. That's probably the best.
Okay. I feel
always
like it's
speak
a pretty...
through my. This one says, always speak through my beer mug from David.
I think we're like a pretty 60-40 split, maybe thereabouts.
All right. Good answers, guys.
After a few whiskeys.
After a few whiskeys, definitely never speaking again.
Before whiskey, during whiskey, after whiskey.
Maybe because I had some tequila shots, I'm saying never again. Because I didn't.
All right. So I'll ask the next question. Would you rather travel to the lowest part of the ocean or to the end of the Milky Way galaxy?
Milky Way galaxy, 100%.
Yeah?
Aliens are real. Fight me on this. I
Obviously.
need to see what else is out there.
The truth is out there.
I
Believe
need
Mulder
to
and
go.
Scully.
One day when I can afford those SpaceX flights, I'm going.
Oh, yeah.
I need to see what's out in space.
Oh, for sure.
Ooh, we got a lot more space answers. Ocean.
Yeah. You know, I am
Ooh.
going to kind of go against the grain. I love space. I'm fascinated by it. I think it's amazing. And I want to go there. But, you know, we haven't even discovered all of the, like, life forms in the ocean. So I would want to travel to the lowest part of it.
You want to
Like-
know what's here with us? I don't know.
Yeah, there's
I
so
don't
many
know.
cool, random, creepy looking things down there. Like, I
don't
want to
know.
see it. I want to know what's there.
We've got
Fly
Milky
to the
Way,
moon.
Milky Way, end of the galaxy, ocean, lowest part of the ocean, galaxy all the way, bruh. Love that. Only if I get to fly the spaceship. Greg asked, would you rather have a frontal lobotomy or a bottle in front of me? I don't know what that answer. I don't know. I'm afraid of the ocean. Take a shot already. John, you're playing a dangerous game here. Okay.
Jacques
I think
Cousteau.
we've got more. I think we've got more galaxy.
Also,
answers.
just, you know, so real quick, the Titanic sank and it's only 2 miles below the surface of the water, right? But they had to design like a special kind of underwater ship to withstand all that pressure. Like, and that's just 2 miles. Like, the ocean goes even deeper than that. So I think that'd be pretty amazing.
I can't. All right, next question. This one's a little bit crude. I think you guys will like this. So, would you rather clog the toilet on a first date or the first day at a new job?
Oh, yikes. Both are embarrassing. I would say
New job.
first day at a new job.
New job.
'Cause you can always blame it on someone else.
But if you're in a restaurant, it wouldn't know if you clog the toilet.
True. But what if you, like, you know, are watching a movie and you're at, like,
Oh,
their
fair.
apartment or their house,
enough,
and
fair
then,
enough.
like, they're gonna know it was you, and then they'll be like, all right, time to leave. Date's over.
Wait, these are pretty funny. Job. Working from home makes that easy. Based on experience, both. And both have happened. I'm sorry, Joel. That sucks. Pat says, I've done it on a first date. She is now my wife. Single people out there.
Peter, that's a
Clog
good
the
answer,
toilet on your
too.
first date.
You
New
get
job.
paid to clog the toilet.
Fair. That's fair as well. Oh, this is hard.
I'm still
is-
sticking with my first day of work answer.
I have to do work as well. That it wasn't me. Wasn't me. I don't know who did that. It's just that's disgusting. Who would do that? That wasn't me.
Like, definitely wasn't me. I don't know.
Mike, I have a date tonight. I will let
Me?
you know.
I wasn't coming from the bathroom. I was coming from the break room. Yeah. No. Definitely wasn't me.
All right, thanks, guys. We got another question from Linnea.
Yeah, one more question. Okay. Since this one is kind of inspired by, you know, the past year and a half, like a lot of folks working from home, not really going out that much, but now things are opening up. But would you rather for a year have a mullet haircut or a bowl cut?
God, they both.
Mullet all day.
Mm.
And my answer is pretty obvious because I already kind of have it going on. I would pick the mullet.
Okay.
I've had a bowl cut. It's not, you know. I mean, I didn't have it when I was a little kid either. I had it like as a teenager. My hair was growing out and it was not a good look. Someone at the airport asked my mom for her son's ID.
Oh my God.
So I would pick a mullet.
I think mullet as well because I can wear a hat. Maybe hide it a little bit. A bowl cut, there's no way. You can't even tie it in a ponytail. It's
Greg
Taylor
is in
should have a
Oklahoma.
mullet.
He says
Someone
mullet
said I
all
should
the
have a
way.
mullet. Maybe I should. I don't know, if I get
Yeah,
drunk
Derek-
enough, I'll do it.
Derek and Zachary have a good point. Mullets are in style again. So
Are they?
yeah, I've got friends with mullets.
Bruh.
Okay. I think
I am
would
in
choose a
Portland
mullet.
though, so you know. Edgar, I just want to have hair.
Justin, as a bald man, I'd take either. Justin, there are wigs. He would
And then
like that.
Peter
It's
says
mullet
he'd
wigs.
shave his head afterwards anyway. So that's fair
Oh,
too.
that's a good point. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay.
All right.
I do have one more fun question, Linnea, but this one's only for us.
Okay.
Would you rather eat another jelly bean or take another shot of tequila?
Oh man. Oh,
Pick.
I just don't know if.
Dang, everyone wants us to get drunk. Oh,
Yeah,
jelly bean.
I don't know if I can do another one of those beans, man. That dirty dishwasher, it did me dirty.
Oh my
I
God,
was
they want us to
burping
do both.
afterwards, and it tasted like it. It was so gross. It was so gross.
They want us to do both.
Both? No. It's a would you rather. There's a
Okay,
one.
you go ahead, Linnea. I'll do both after.
I'm gonna take some more tequila. I can't.
Really?
I can't do those beans.
Let me go get that shot. Hang on.
A bean chaser, Derek. No.
Bruh.
Okay. This is like.
Good luck, my friend.
Right? That's a lot. I have regrets. Okay. Cheers to
scared.
Block Party 2021.
Woo! Let's go.
All right. So, that was fun. Thank you
right.
for participating in those Would You Rather questions.
I'll go one more. I'll go one more for the crowd. I'll just take one jelly bean.
I'll start handing out the prizes while you're
Toasted
doing that.
marshmallow or stink bug? Marshmallow or stink bugs? The brown ones. Okay. There you go.
You are braver than I am.
Oh,
Taylor.
dear. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't swallow that. No. I'll take a shot.
Okay, well,
I'll take a shot.
so we we have 2 more Amazon gift cards as well as a pair of AirPod Max headphones.
Sunglasses back on.
Taylor, you good to
Yep. Let's go.
announce the first gift card winner?
The next gift card winner goes to Jackie Shepherd. Congrats, Jackie. Woo!
Woohoo! The next gift card winner is Eric Huntley. Congratulations, Eric! Woo, woo, woo!
Congrats, Eric. Last but not least, we have these AirPod Max headphones. We love our Apple products here. The Apple Max or AirPods Max goes to John Spencer. Woo!
Yeah, John! All right.
No green text from Verify here. And once again, congrats to all of our winners, Eric Huntley, Jackie Shepherd, and John Spencer. Congrats, guys.
Congratulations. It was great doing those Would You Rather questions with y'all. I had
Hate you
fun
guys.
getting to know everyone a little bit better.
You did this. to me.
Now it's time for another customer success story. This time we'll be hearing from Carl Raymer at All Children's Hospital. Stick around, guys. We're going to do the grand prize after this success story.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kevin Sweeney from Verify, and you're watching Quick Takes, where I speak with customers about their experience using Verify products. Today, I'm joined by Carl Raymer from Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. Carl, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Just to get started, can you tell us a little bit about what you do at Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital?
Sure. I'm a senior networking technician. I'm responsible for all of the telecom products here at the site. Everything from Cisco, UCM, Unity, UCCX, Finesse, which is all of our call centers and those kind of things. I do a lot of the reporting stuff and a lot of the troubleshooting, the day-to-day operations is what I take care of here.
What prompted the need for you to start looking for a solution like Variphy?
Well, once we got into the new hospital, what we had is what I like to refer to as a call accounting program, which did okay. We get a lot of people requesting, hey, we got this call come in or something along that lines, or we're getting fax machines calling us, and it's fine for that kind of a thing. But what I needed more as a technician was a reporting program. I needed something that would follow these calls in. I needed something that would tell me, hey, who hung up on a call? We get a lot of people here, especially in our call centers, would call back and say, hey, I was hung up on, or something like that. And that call accounting system just wouldn't hack it. It would not let you know where that call came from, if it was transferred around, if it was put on hold. So as a technician here, I needed more of a reporting system that would follow those calls through. Like everything else, this is just their tools in our arsenal for troubleshooting and those kind of things. So I started doing some research online, and I started looking at what was available to me out there and for cost, and had what I needed to do these kind of troubleshooting things. So I came across Variphy, and quite honestly, I think it was a Google that I had done about reporting systems. I had gotten a hold of Tom on there, and we started talking, and a very, very friendly guy, knew his stuff. And he even said that, we could get their system put in our hospital for 30 days just to test it out. No issues. And I tell you, he had the thing up and running after a couple of conversations in probably about 20 minutes. And we started getting calls, and I started using it. And I was really impressed with what it could do right away. Within the first couple of weeks, I was able to just help out some of our users here and give them some reports that they've never been able to have access to. So that's kind of how initially we got involved with Variphy. Again, it's been several years now, so the product's holding up well, I can tell you that.
Carl, now that you guys have had the software for a while, can you just speak to us a little bit about what impact that has made on your day-to-day operations?
The phone remote controlling, that has helped us out greatly, because especially now with the COVID, I work from home a lot. Well, this gives me the opportunity to go into someone that has to be there in the office and do training with them on their phone. I can see exactly what they're doing. I can see what they're pushing. I can see if any updates are out on the phone. So the remote control aspect also is just a phenomenal piece that's in the Variphy that I use. I use that every week. Every single week I go in there and I at least use that. Again, the call tracking. The big thing again is the end to end of the call. You can see where that call comes in, what number they dialed, was that call transferred, were they put on hold, all of that information is right there, and it works so seamlessly and so fast getting these reports that I absolutely tell all of our managers and users, if they need a report, you'll get that the same day. So they're real happy with that.
Overall, how would you say your experience with Variphy has been?
I would definitely give it a 10 out of 10. I mean, just the Variphy solution itself is it does a lot. There's a lot in there. And to be honest, you can get pretty overwhelmed with the detail that you can get out of these calls. That's my biggest thumbs up would be the support that you get from Variphy. I like to tell people, I think you guys just sit there and wait for me to call, because that's how quickly the response times are. And right away, everybody there is so knowledgeable about the system. Any questions I have or any issues are taken care of right away. And that is so impressive to me, because a lot of these companies will take days to get back to you for something. And I think that your organization understands that, you know, when we need something fixed, we need it now because stuff breaks, you know, stuff breaks and, you know, you can't schedule those kind of things. So I'm very, very impressed with the support that I get from Variphy too.
All right, Carl, those are all the questions I have. On behalf of everybody at Variphy, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us. We really appreciate you being here.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Glad I could be here.
All right, everybody, that is all the time we have for this installment of Quick Takes. My name is Kevin Sweeney, and I will see you next time.
All right. Thank you, Carl. It's so wonderful to hear how beneficial Variphy has been for you at All Children's Hospital. And really glad that he gave us a 10 out of 10. Now here comes the moment that you've all been waiting for.
But before we hand out our grand prize, we wanted to introduce our marketing team member with the best radio host voice I've ever heard, Jim! Welcome, Jim!
Yes, well, thank you very much, Taylor and Linnea, for inviting me out now that all the shenanigans and all the tequila shots and the dishwater beans and the dog food beans, and thank you for bringing me out now. I really appreciate it. I'm very excited to be here and join the team at Variphy. It's truly an honor to work with such amazing colleagues. With that said, let's jump right in here and kind of announce what I've cooked up for today's grand prize. I know many of us have been working from home, and we've been patiently waiting for the day when we can take that much needed relaxing vacation far away from home, where we've been stuck for over a year and a half. So when you're ready to travel again, I've come up with a luxurious destination vacation for two on the beautiful island of Maui, Hawaii. You'll receive you'll receive round trip airfare, 4 nights accommodations to the Sheraton Maui Resort and Spa, a rental car for your duration of your stay, and a couple's Swedish massage to help you relax once you've made it to the Big Island. All right, here you go. This entire package is valued at just over $3,000. What do you guys think?
I mean, that sounds absolutely amazing, Jim. However, maybe some people just got back from taking a trip. Not I wish it was me. But I think I might have done something a little bit different. I would have offered them a world-class home gym workout package featuring the award-winning Soul F80 folding treadmill, Echelon X3 Smart Connect fitness bike, Marcy Cage home gym, and a 160-pound set of Amgen premium bumper plate weights. This entire package is also valued at $3,000. What do you have to say about that?
Sounds pretty good. All right.
Whoa. Wait a second, guys.
Oh, gosh.
I agree that both a luxurious destination vacation and a world-class home gym workout package would be nice. However, as, you know, a bit of a couch potato myself, as well as a movie buff, I would much prefer an ultimate home theater experience with a Sony 75-inch Bravia XR series LED 4K smart TV, a Yamaha premium all-in-one home theater system, a Sony streaming 4K Blu-ray player, and a $250 Netflix gift card for a year of premium streaming entertainment. So this entire package, which, like I said, is made for all of us movie buff and couch potatoes out there, is valued at $3,000.
Okay. All right. I see what you guys are saying here. Let me get this straight. You're saying we should let the winner pick which of these amazing prizes they get to win. I'm totally down with that. I'm totally down with that. So the winner gets to choose between a luxurious destination vacation to Hawaii for two, a world-class home gym workout package, or they can take the ultimate home theater experience. This sounds like a fantastic idea, you guys.
How can you choose?
I think
All
so.
right. All right. Before we announce the winner, I want to remind everyone, we have a Verify Q&A panel ready to answer all of your questions right here on this call immediately following this announcement. So, Taylor, Linnea, that only leaves us with one more thing to do. Let's announce the winner. And we will find out which prize they choose on Planet Verify. So, without further ado, today's grand prize winner is Joel Jones.
Woo!
Woo!
Congratulations,
Congratulations! Let us know which prize you want.
Yeah!
Congrats. Woo-hoo-hoo. All right. Now we're going to turn it over to the Verify Q&A panel. Dan, take it away, buddy.
Thank you, Mr. Jim Butler, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I know a lot of questions have been submitted where we were running short on time, so now is the time to get all of your questions answered. We've got a running list here, so our SEs are standing by to copy those down for you. So let's get right on into it. Grab your favorite beverage. Let's have a nice relaxing time and get some of your questions answered. So to the Verify panel, are you all ready? All right, so first question coming in is regarding the cube session that Vic and I did, and Sriram basically wants to know, why do the headers show as H323 in a cube data set? So this basically amounts to that the file accounting method that we're utilizing is a legacy application within Cube. And whether or not it is old ISDN, PRI, or SIP traffic coming over that cube, the data is going to be different. However, the headers are sticky by Cisco's perspective. So that's why we see mention of H323 comp ID and H323 call origin. But if that is bothering you, we do have the ability in our application to provide custom label sets to change that up for you. So yeah, it's really just the old headers that Cisco went with from the initiation of iOS. So Radius uses this, file accounting uses this, syslog also uses this. So it's just an old time header that Cisco still uses. But yeah, that's hopefully answers your questions, Sriram. Simi DC wants to know if there is a glossary somewhere on our knowledge base. Not yet. We are currently working on a glossary, but in the meantime, what we could do is we could send you over a link to Cisco's website. It has all the definitions of all the terms there. And so if there's any questions on what some of the fields represent, just contact our support team. We'll get those answered for you. But yeah, we'll just relay you to Cisco's documentation for that. Let's see, what else do we have here? If maybe someone wants to take the question from Greg in talking a little bit about Verify's capabilities within Unity. I think in the chat, I think Greg was mentioning that this is specific to call handler input options and whether or not we can report that. Who on the panel wants to take that?
I could jump in, Dan.
Thanks, Vic.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we don't connect directly to Unity for the purpose of analytics. We can do as-built reporting through our for Unity, but as for kind of the call analytics or the flow analytics, that's not something that we have directly. We have built quite a few successful reports based off of calls when they leave the Unity messaging system. In other words, once somebody hits that option, where does the call go when it leaves the Unity messaging system? So we can actually use our cradle-to-grave searchability to pull out all those calls going to Unity, and then sub-search the cradle-to-grave legs to find out where those calls are going. It does get a little dicey if you're trying to pull things out like submenus. Because we're not connecting directly to the Unity system, we don't see if somebody hits a submenu. We just see when the call comes out of Unity. But we've had a lot of success building cradle-to-grave reports out of Unity, so it's more than something we'd be happy to give you a hand with. But also, we have done a webinar on that. Feel free to take a look at that. That's on our webinars page. and it kind of walks through what we have the capability to be able to do from a Unity reporting perspective.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vic. Just reading through the list here real quick. Bob asks, what license will the background alerting be part of? So this is the component that Derek was talking about the CCX background alerting. And to be honest, we're still kind of discovering, Bob, what is all going to be scoped as part of that project. We aren't fully 100% sure if this will be a licensed product, or if it'll just be overwritten to what is currently there. So no defined answer to that just yet, Bob, but I wanted to get that addressed for you. Here. Also, Greg asks, do we have any plans to integrate with Cisco's ER, emergency responder? Yeah, Greg, we've heard kind of this request here and there a little bit. We never really took a good look as far as technicals, how we would be connecting to it, if there's an available API, or if there's some sort of subscription that we need to. But we could certainly take this offline internally and see, if it's worth getting that zoning-based information, right? So as right now, we can produce 911 call-based alerts, but that's only based off of the CDR data. The emergency responder information, I'm assuming and guessing right now that you would get a little bit more specific information about that 911 call, like the zone in the building that's there, and see if we can report and alert off of that. So we'll take that as a to-do and something to do some R&D on our side and see what's available to us. Greg, thanks for the question. So this is kind of piggies back off the other question. Michael D wants to know if there's a way to record what number was picked in a call tree, and this is within Unity as well. Now, we've always had the ability to kind of reverse engineer that data, and Vic, you kind of alluded to this too, but instead of going direct to Unity, and we know Unity has, the call input reports, and you can get that data from there. Some of that data may already be in the Cisco CDR as long as the one-to-one mapping. You're enabling that cradle to grave component within your report. If you see a call being sent to Unity and then transferred from Unity and going to a specific extension, well, in the back of your mind, if we know what that extension is mapped to option wise, then you can safely assume that you have these many calls going to number option 1, or these number of calls going to option number 2 based off of that second leg in that cradle to grave sequence, right? So we could use some cradle to grave search sets to help define that, but it's not as clear as saying, hey, they hit option 1 or option 2. It's kind of having to know where those options go to and seeing that in the call sequence. So hopefully that helps you out, Michael. Okay, so Jeremy S. Shupik going regarding the roadmap items. Our 12.3, which will be available here in a few weeks. Can you upgrade direct to 12.3 from any previous version before 12.2.4? So he's mentioning 12.2.3 specifically. And Jeremy, absolutely, you will be able to do that. I do want to preface this by saying, so with 12.3, right, and the ability, if you're doing the Cube call analytics, there is a component that, Cube is only able to deliver calls over FTP. So what we've done is we've offered a new OVA. If you want to have a pre-installed FTP server, we are using VSFTPD. If you want to install new, if you don't, perfectly understandable. We do have scripts on the upgrade. So when you do the upgrade, we will have scripts that install VSFTPD. Granted, that server has internet access. If it doesn't, and if it's offline, we still have ways to go out, install manually VSFTPD. So you can certainly do that, but there's going to be something on the back end that we need to do if you are using the Cube call analytics, setting up the FTP server and the users and home root directories that Cube will use to deliver that data. So a few extra steps more than just running the upgrade to get Cube working, but that is all there for us. All right. Do we have any other questions? Anyone on the SE team seeing any other questions?
Dan, we did have one come in from Bobby French. Is there a plan in the future to connect to Unity to see how calls flow through call handlers? So more kind of analytics directly from Unity.
I think we've had that request. I think that's something we kind of just need to take offline and take a look into. We get this request, quite frequently, to be honest. So I think we just need to look to see what our capabilities in Unity are as far as actual querying goes.
Bruh.
Any other questions? All right, guys, so now is the time. If you have any other questions, we've got the team at your disposal. Let's use them. Give you about 10 more seconds if we don't see anything else. Taylor's sounding hungry here.
Bruh.
Too much tequila for you, Taylor?
I've only had tequila, coffee, and jelly beans today.
Well, that sounds like a balanced diet right there. I'd say you're good to go.
There's a sandwich in every bottle.
All right. Well, I guess there are no other questions. All this food talk in the chat is really making me hungry as well. So let's go ahead and end it up. And we're going to toss it back over to Mr. Butler. Since he's got that awesome radio personality voice, we're going to allow him to wrap it up for us. So Mr. Jim Butler, if you could wrap it up for us today, that'd be much appreciated.
Sure thing. Thank you, Dan. Thank you to you and all of the presenters today, for everyone behind the scenes who made this possible, making it run seamlessly. And most important, thank you to you, our customers. Without you, none of this would be possible. So we really appreciate it. It was very unfortunate we weren't able to see you live in Las Vegas this year at Cisco Live, but I hear in June next year they're planning on having a hybrid mode at least. So we're looking forward to seeing you next June. But we're not going to stop this block party. Nice. I think Linnea and Taylor showed us that we need to be doing this maybe a little bit more often. So thank you all.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, dear.
Right. So thank you all very much for your time today. We know it was a little bit long, but we appreciate you sticking it out and everything you did. That's it from the team at Variphy. We all thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Until next time, it's your block party. It's our block party. Let's get it on. Woo.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Oh.